What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people, and I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self-care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now, and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on? Is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. It is Wednesday, January 15th, 2025, year of our Lord. Can we get a round of applause for everybody that's in the building? Shout out to my friends and family. Shout out to everybody that was tuned in on After Hours yesterday. Life is absolutely awesome. I am excited to be before you here on this Wednesday, hump day. Shout out to everybody that's truck drivers. Shout out to everybody that's in the office, returning back to work. Shout out to all of my laid off people that's looking for a job. You're going to get there. Shout out to my nurses, people that's in the church getting ready for Bible study tonight. Shout out to my daycare workers. Shout out to everybody, my stay-at-home mothers. What up? Shout out to my stay-at-home fathers. What up? My software engineer, my tech workers, my call center workers, anybody that's tuning in to me from home, on the road, or abroad, I appreciate you. You guys are the greatest audience on earth. What's up, friends and family? How are y'all feeling today? Is everybody in a good mood? I am absolutely in a good mood. I'm looking forward to bringing you guys a phenomenal show like we do every single day. For my bag chasers, we got a Patreon exclusive that's dropping for y'all tonight. So since we're not doing a live stream tonight, because we don't do live streams on Wednesdays, that may change in the future. I'm just giving you guys a heads up. We are dropping a Patreon exclusive tonight. All right. So let's just get a little bit of the housekeeping out of the way. Today, we in studio. Tomorrow, we live streaming from the road. Friday, we live streaming for the road. Monday, I am planning on possibly doing a pre-recorded live stream for you guys, all right? Because Monday will probably be one of the busiest days in the world, considering that we will probably be doing, be at the inauguration. So that's the plan, is to be at the inauguration. I was telling the people yesterday, and I said, you know, I want to go to the inauguration. It's an opportunity of a lifetime. Of course, we have to do different events and things like that. But honestly, to be honest with you, my priority is here in the studio working. I've taught myself to be more outgoing, to be more intentional when it comes to kicking it with people on a regular basis and things like that. But in reality, I'm just a worker. I'm a worker that they decided to give a microphone to, or maybe I created my own microphone. But in reality, I'm just a worker, ladies and gentlemen. I am not the type of person that is always in the streets. I'm social. I love people. I interact. I know how to communicate effectively. I know how to sell. However, in reality, I am just a person and I don't look at myself as high level as maybe other people perceive me to be, meaning that I don't take myself too serious. You know what I'm saying? And so if you giving me a choice and you say, Anton, you either have to work and get that money or you can go and hobnob and hang out with all of the who's. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to pick work. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to pick work. However, I understand that I got to do what I got to do. And that's why you surround yourself with other people that then push you outside of your comfort zone so that you can do what you got to do. All right. So, yeah, man, I think that more of us are similar than we are separate. I think that we are very much similar in a lot of ways. But a lot of times, we let all of this camera work and the fame and the money and all of that type of stuff. Some people let it get to their heads. I don't. I don't. I'm just a chill dude. So yes, we aren't missing no matter what. I don't really care where I'm at. I don't care if it's at the inauguration. I don't care if it's at Mar-a-Lago. I will always be dropping, never missing. So you guys can have the expectation that I will be dropping for you guys in one way or another, even if I have to stay at the hotel and then go over to all of the events later. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but we gonna figure it out. So again, let me just give y'all a little bit of a little bit of an update, housekeeping. Um, Patreon video. So if y'all not part of the Bag Chasers, you need to tap into the Patreon. Next week we're doing the live stream from Stock Club. So again, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. Also on top of that, live streaming from the road tomorrow, live streaming from the road on Friday. So we're gonna be in a hotel live streaming for you guys. Pre-recorded show on Monday. That's what the expectation, but that can be tentative. Pre-recorded show on Tuesday, and then Wednesday we back in the studio, and then we off to the races, and we gonna figure it out from there. All right. So let me go ahead and read a couple of the super chats. We're gonna get started with prayer, and then we're gonna jump right into the show. Levite Apparel says, Anton, morning, morning, sir. Most High and Christ bless you. Business and your family may success, health, and more money. Mooney. Morning Bag Chasers. Shout out to the Chasers. Shout out to Levite Apparel. Miss Crow T. Shetty, I appreciate you for the super sticker. Thomas Washington says, Mike and Barry on the outs. Y'all so mean. When I was putting together this live stream and I was planning for it because everything is produced, I just anticipate y'all saying some of the wildest things in this live stream, but we gonna get through it. Shout out to Thomas Washington. I appreciate you. Latrell, shout out to Latrell. Latrell said, I got that 2-ball for you. I appreciate you also. Thank you, Latrell. Let me also acknowledge the people on Cash App because I'll never forget y'all. Mike That Dude. Thank you, Mike That Dude, for holding me down. And ESDC, thank you, guys. Thank you to everybody that support the platform and hold us down. You guys are the greatest on earth. How about we go ahead and get started with some prayer? Did I miss anything in housekeeping before we get started with the show? All right. Lord, bless me to have a good attitude while I'm on the road. Lord, bless me to have a good attitude while I'm traveling because these plane rides, they can be long. And the sentiments of my heart. Hey, can we have some real prayer today, y'all? Can we get serious with our prayers? Because since we've been in the new studio, I've been a little bit different. I've been more corporate, trying to be more politically correct, but let's just get down to it. Lord, bless me in my attitude when I get on these planes, because the desires of my heart. That I would love to make some adjustments, and I need to get to that bag. And God, I need to get to the bag, not because I need the money, but because I need the lifestyle. I need to go to the next level. It's nothing like going through an airport, and it's not even the plane ride itself that's the problem. It's not none of that. All of the stewardess, the pilots, everybody is good. I meet everybody in the airport is great. But God, getting through that airport and having to travel and park and then be there a little bit early just in case the TSA is slow. God, that's not me. That's not my life. I want to do something different. I need PJ money, God. I need 30 M's. I need it. I need it. Maybe I don't need it. But you know my heart. You know the sentiments of my heart. Lord, I've experienced the clear port before, and it was different. It was different. It was different. God, continue to bless me to go up and forward, up and forward. I'm blessed. I appreciate flying the way that we fly. It's another level. But in addition to that, bless me to have a good attitude while I go through the airport. And keep us safe and protected. Guide our footsteps. Bless the show. To be authentic, always. To be transparent, always. And to be dedicated to the edification of the people that watch it. We love you. We appreciate you. We ask everything in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, y'all. Y'all ready to get started with the show? Oh, Mr. Lot is in the building. Mr. Lot says, salute to the chasers. Another opportunity to chase a bag. Appreciate the insight like always. Let me get a round of applause for Mr. Lot. Thank you, Miss M. I appreciate you. Chris James, 100 M's. I take it. I'm with it. I'm with it. Lord, you know we put on a better show than everybody else. You know the Millionaire Morning Show is better than all of these imitations and these duplicates that don't put in the effort. They ain't even invested nothing into their platforms. They just looking dusty and they just throw some background on and they think that they can have the same results. Bless us. You know what I'm saying, Mr. Lot? Let's get it. You know I got to make sure that my team is taken care of. I see you, Molly, in the chat. God, listen, God, let me extend my prayer a little bit before we get started with the show. Lord, you know that I am a very generous leader and that when I get the bag, my people get the bag along with me. Lord, you know, for every check that I get, I break it down with the team. I bust it down. I send bonuses. I take care of the people. I pay for health care. I do all of that, God. I take care of the team. And so, Lord, if you love any one of these other people on the team also, double my prayer. You know what I'm saying? Let my angels, my cherubims, whatever it is that's protecting me and it's around me, carry that up there. Get that to Jesus ASAP. Expedited process. You know I like to take care of my team. God, they need it too. You know what I'm saying? All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get back into the show. Anyways, Quick Hits. Quick Hits is a segment of the show that we don't necessarily think that we need to dedicate an entire segment to, but we definitely want to keep you guys in the loop on what's going on in these streets. First things first, recall efforts in Chicago is gaining steam. Take a look.
There is a new move to recall Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. The first attempt, you may remember, came from a Chicago resident, an average citizen. But this next one comes from Springfield. NBC5's Chalova Chahusky got the mayor's reaction to this today.
As he joined a cavalcade of public officials welcoming a $1.9 billion federal investment in the CTA's Red Line extension, Mayor Brandon Johnson brushed off what have been increasing calls for him to be recalled.
As far as, people introducing legislation, that's their job to do that.
Late Thursday night, Representatives Anthony DeLuca and LaShawn Ford introduced HB 1084, calling for a clear and effective process to conduct recall elections in cities like Chicago.
People are asking for it. It's not something that I thought of myself. It's something that constituents asked for in 2015 after the Laquan McDonald's tape was released.
At the time, Ford's bill, which he has introduced every year since, was aimed at Mayor Rahm Emanuel. There is already a grassroots effort underway to collect the more than 56,000 signatures necessary to force a recall. The man behind that movement is Dan Boland.
Every day that the mayor is in office is a master class in why a Chicago mayoral recall mechanism is needed.
The mayor's office is still reeling after questions were raised about his status as an on-leave member of the Chicago Teachers Union and his involvement in contract talks, as well as criticism from the governor's office about his relationship with Springfield.
The good thing about the work that we do in the city of Chicago, a perception of one individual doesn't define the entire city of Chicago.
I think that Brandon Johnson is probably one of the most arrogant people that I've ever seen as a legislator. Not confident, because confidence and arrogance is two different things. It looks different, right? Confidence is you talking your talk, but you also know that you walk in a walk, that you are delivering. You know, I like to always say that it's Mayweather. A lot of people didn't necessarily like Mayweather, but what Mayweather did was he delivered every single time. There was nobody that was even close. As much as you may not have liked the way that he talked, he over-delivered and he backed it up, whether it was with the numbers or his performance inside of the ring and being one of the most technically proficient fighters that you've ever seen in your entire life, right? That's confidence. Arrogance is this. Arrogance is thinking that you really doing your thing and you don't want to hear or see or read the room and can't really understand that you're not that. You're not that. And so, you know, the one concern that I do have in Chicago, even though I think that this mayor should be recalled, is who do you replace him with? Because if you replace him with something that's just as bad, if not worse, then it was all for nothing. In addition to that, ladies and gentlemen, TikTok, people are leaving and going to other platforms in anticipation of TikTok no longer being available in the app stores. Check it out.
We're just going to TikTok's other app.
Tonight, amid fear a TikTok ban could take effect later this week, some Americans flocking to Chinese apps like RedNote.
I'm a TikTok refugee.
And Lemonade.
Hello, Lemonade. This is my first video.
Both apps have similarities to TikTok, and Lemonade shares a parent company, ByteDance. The platform's topping Apple's downloads.
We are doing this to spite our own government.
Some say it's a form of protest.
By going to an app like RedNote, they're saying, no, I am in control of where I give my data.
Have y'all seen, are y'all looking at the profile, right? And user experience, before I, left corporate America, and user experience, what we used to do, and this is so funny because everybody said that you shouldn't profile, is we profile. And to create a profile or a persona, right? We would actually create 10 to 20 different personas. And the personas were basically profiling the users that we were targeting and the users that were a part of our applications that we already had in flight, right? And so what we would do is we would create all of these different personas that spoke to what we were trying to solve for, right? The problems that we would work towards. And it would be white man, 54, walks around with an Android and he wears Obama jeans. And we would actually design the person. We wouldn't just say, hey, this is what he used. This is how often he's up. These are the applications that he's paying attention to outside of the application that he's using for us, this and that, so on and so forth. We would also design the person and give them a face. And anytime that we would have a disagreement, or if I seen a developer that had a question and he would disagree with a product owner, then I would always bring them back if I couldn't get them on the same page, because essentially as a user experience director, your job is not only to give them direction as to what it is that we're delivering to the customers, but your job is also to bridge the gap between the developers and the product owners and everybody else that was on the team, right? You were the voice, and often at times we would use what we would call personas to bring people back to the front of the congregation, right? So if y'all just can't see eye to eye, or you just disagreeing because the product owner is saying, I want this, and the developer is saying, I don't think that makes sense. Well, we would always refer back to the persona. And I say, hey guys, listen. It's not about us. Take yourself out of it. It's not about whether or not you want it. The question is, does it make sense for the user? And I would say, and so Jason over there, our Asian Jason, right? We would always give him two names. We would give him a description, an adjective, and then their name, right? We would say Asian Jason or Angry Susan or this and that and so on and so forth. And maybe I'll go through it with you guys and break it down inside of the Patreon. I think that would be an interesting Patreon exclusive, because that way it could help you guys with your businesses, and I'll go over and I'll break it down. But we would always give them these adjectives or these descriptions. We would give them a face, and I would say, well, what about Angry Susan? What does she think? Do you think Angry Susan really cares about whether or not you like this color or whatever, so on and so forth? Angry Susan is having problems logging in. And so that's how we would always present the case to solve for or to advocate for whether or not we wanted a feature, or whether we wanted to get rid of something, or it was too cumbersome, or it was too slow, or whatever. And when I see this, y'all said Black Chris, when I see every last one of these people, whether or not they got bonnets on their head, or they look like angry liberals, or I see this woman that was previously on here like her. We're doing this to spite our government. All of these people fit the profile of Kamala Harris supporters and Biden voters, honest to God. And that's just the way that my brain works. I see things differently. I don't look at it just from what is being presented on the screen a lot of times. I look at it and I say, these people are the personification of angry, disappointing liberals, probably would allow for people to use their own bathrooms, all of that. All of these people that's complaining, honest to God, are the personification of dusty to me. Dusty women who probably are cat ladies and probably can't get a man. And so they put on these wild glasses and they kind of resemble the anger of an Amanda Seals and the presentation layer of a cat lady that got 3 Starbucks jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of these people look the same. They act the same. They fit the personification. And that's how we do. We suppose a profile to solve for a problem. Anyways, don't let me get off on a tangent. Let's focus. Let's get back to it.
It's a form of protest.
I going to an app like RedNote, they're saying,
Tyrone.
no. I am in control.
If you seen this woman walking in the streets, right? Who do you think that you would say that she voted for? Do you think that she would say, I'm about making America great again, and we need to deregulate so that we can pay down our national debt? And do you think that she would be one of those type of people, or do you think that she would possibly be a tree hugger and a scissor kicker? I'm willing to bet the latter. Probably a part of the Adopt a Pet program, lives in Seattle somewhere. You know? Anyways, let me focus.
Of where I give my data.
Some users even protesting American-owned Meta.
You will not catch
all of
me on
them are the
Instagram
same,
Reels.
bro.
The law that could ban TikTok largely focuses on U.S. government concerns that China could manipulate content Americans see or steal user data. TikTok denies this.
TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, is explicitly named in the law. Users, for now, assuming the government isn't prepared to also block other apps like RedNote, but they could eventually be impacted because of their Chinese ownership.
ByteDance could sell TikTok to an American owner. Today,
somebody said, perfect time to make a black-owned platform. Man, don't nobody care about y'all identity politics platforms. Don't y'all already got one? Isaac Hayes the third or something made it. It's called, it's full of bugs. Ain't been updated in like 5 years. What's the name of it? Man, listen, bro. People want stuff that's awesome that they can use, that actually recommends them what they want to recommend and within an algorithm. Don't nobody care about y'all identity politics platform. This one is black owned. Don't you realize that saying that something is black owned actually limits the reach of your application? And so that's why you don't brand it that way, because you're basically alienating the other 85% of the population inside of the United States of America. Perfect time to create a black owned platform. Don't nobody care about your platform if it's black owned. They just want a good platform. Have you supported black-owned businesses? No, I didn't, because their service was bad and it was full of diabetes. Black-owned. Let go of your racist ways. Nobody cares about your identity politics. You're going to die on that hill and still be in identity politics and limit the amount of interactions and great connections that you can make in your life. Don't listen. When you segment yourself off and say, I only want to deal with these people. First of all, you're not supposed to do something against somebody that you wouldn't want done to you. So if you wouldn't want somebody to say, I want a white-owned platform, then don't do it and say, I want a black-owned platform. It sounds dumb and it's racist. Secondly, you have no clue the amount of opportunities and limits that you place on yourself that you don't even realize that you miss, because there's somebody out there that is looking at you and saying, yeah, okay, I see it. And they never even say nothing. Opportunities pass you by every single day because you so focused on segmenting yourself away from another group of people who don't even care about any of the stuff that happened before them and is not responsible for the things that their grandparents did. Grow up. You too old. Too old for that.
A question swirling if Elon Musk is in the mix to buy it after Bloomberg reported Chinese officials have discussed that, according to people familiar with the matter. TikTok tells NBC News that's pure fiction. Savannah Sellers, NBC News.
We'll see what happens. I'm going to just observe, and I'm going to see what happens with this TikTok man, and I'm going to keep you guys up to date. And then last but not least, Starbucks is reversing its open door policy. What does that mean? Check it out. I'll explain it to you afterwards.
Starbucks is reversing its open door policy, meaning if you're not a customer, you're no longer welcome.
And Starbucks says the new rule is to improve safety and the customer experience. Fox 13's Alejandra is joining us from Seattle. Ali, what do people think about this?
It's a mixed bag. Some people are glad this is the new norm, but others are bummed as they say this is what Starbucks is known for, its open spaces. But this is Starbucks saying they don't want to be America's public restroom anymore. Now, every time you walk into a Starbucks, you can get a quick look at that new code of conduct because it will be displayed at every single location. Spotted in plazas, airports, hospitals, even small-town streets, the green siren logo is a near universal beacon for coffee enthusiasts.
This is a venti decaf Americano. It's afternoon.
Have your order ready.
Sit and visit. No, I grab and go.
No matter what you choose, Starbucks is saying goodbye, see you later to public cafes, patios,
Facts,
and
free
restrooms.
thinker.
The coffee giant's latest code of conduct says you must pay to play.
Part of Starbucks culture historically has been that it's a public space and that it's a place for people to meet and to get work done and probably also to enjoy coffee when they do it, but it was never a requirement before. I'm surprised that they're making that move.
I heard that. I kind of think the state of our country now that it's necessary because I think you're going to have a lot of riffraff if you don't do that.
No drink, no Wi-Fi.
I agree. I think if you're going to use the establishment, then you need to buy something.
The reversal of Starbucks' open door policy or update comes as part of CEO Brian Nichols' strategy to improve the cafe experience.
Like, I wish I could go to the bathroom without having a code, but we have to have a code.
The idea is to have a welcoming experience, meaning no disruption.
I remember, didn't they get a new CEO? The CEO that was at Chipotle, they now got him over at Starbucks, if I'm not mistaken. He making some changes on y'all, cracking y'all heads open. You saying, some people in the chat is saying, why now? That's why now, because they got a new CEO that is going to change the culture of what's happening over at Starbucks.
Option of spaces, harassment, violence, no smoking or vaping, or using drugs. Outside alcohol? Not here. These rules and regulations are meant to deter those experiencing homelessness and non-paying customers who walk in just to use the restroom.
What did they get called for? Because there were two black guys sitting there meeting me?
You recall this PR fiasco, the reason the open door policy was put in place to begin with, after two black men were arrested at a Philadelphia store in 2018. The arrest of Dante Robinson and Rashawn Nelson sparking nationwide conversation when they were told the restroom was for paying customers only. The pair was waiting for a friend to meet them at Starbucks. Starbucks says other retailers have a policy like this in place. And while less businesses are offering public restrooms, they want to keep employees and customers safe. In Seattle, we've seen the closure of two locations, Capitol Hill and the Pike Place storefront.
I think it's necessary. It's sad because it'd be nice if they just let anybody in, but I don't think this the way things are these days.
I agree. At the end of the day, these are businesses. This is not a shelter. This is not for people to, do what they want to do when they want to do it. They have to spend money to make money. They have to keep the doors open. And if y'all ever have ran restaurants, or if you've ever been in a position to run any retail location and you make a restroom public, or you allow people to use the bathroom, a lot of times, the ones that are the non-paying customers are the ones that's the most disrespectful to the business. They're the most disrespectful to the bathroom. They will destroy your bathroom. They will write on the walls. They will take a dump anywhere. They will piss on the floors, not wash their hands, and walk out the door. And then you got to spend time, money, resources, and labor going behind them to clean it up just to make sure that you're pedestrian friendly. So you got to dog it out so everybody else can use it. People that don't spend money, usually they care less. People that don't spend money, they care less. And this is just from my own personal experience in running certain businesses. They care less. And so I agree with it. These is businesses at the end of the day. They pay their rent in order to be in these locations. And if you want to use a restroom, that is going to be reserved for paying customers. Buy something. Otherwise, no bueno. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's your quick hits. Let me read a few more of these super chats and we'll go ahead and get started with the show. The show. Marty Slice says, morning time, I just secured another $30,000 for the year on my small business former side gig while keeping a corporate position. Thank God for Jesus. Let me give you a round of applause for that one. Congratulations, big dog. I think that's awesome, and welcome to the Bag Chasers. P. Shank in the building says, morning, Anton and the Millionaire Morning Show. What up, P. Shank? I love you. Tori Armstead says, good morning, AD. Love the new looking studio. Congrats and God blessings to you. Shout out to my son, 14th birthday today. Lastly, I can't wait till Inauguration Day. How many more days we got till Inauguration Day? What is that, a Monday? So we got 5 days. Longest 5 days of our life. Happy birthday to your 14-year-old. Ashley Patterson is in the building, says, good morning, Fave. Good morning, Ashley. Says, been a while since I listened to the show. I needed some inspiration today after my job of 7 years decided to let me go. Prayers up for Ash. With the opportunity to get a new role before then, just pray for me. Lord, bless Ash, bless our chasers to run it up, and bless her to get more, greater opportunity. Bless this to be them pushing her out for more instead of less. Bless Ash, and congratulations on your new position you're about to get. Freethinker 513 says, saying black-owned is business suicide. Facts. Dealing with 13% instead of 100% is just dumb. Pure dumb. U.S. government be like, if anyone is going to spy on our citizens, it's going to be us. That's our job, not yours, China. Facts. I'm with that. I don't want the government, our government spying on us, let alone anybody outside of the United States of America. You know what's so funny? Everybody over in, everybody that's complaining and saying, we don't care. We should just let them do what they want to do. Well, they're only saying that because they're being impacted by the ban itself. But take this into account too. You do realize that in China, they censor their own citizens. You can't say certain things. You can't type certain things. You can't put certain things on social media. If you are over in China and you send an email, it has to go through a filtering system that then delays that email going out even by almost 24 hours sometimes so that it can be checked for anything that would speak negatively about the things that they banning over there in China. They not really for free speech. But because other people don't even understand the culture or international relations, then they'll just say anything just to get their way instead of taking into consideration how you're being affected. They don't even allow for their citizens to be able to do certain things. Think about that for a minute. Anyways, let's continue over with the show. So first things first, let's talk about Michelle. I know y'all like to call her out of her name. Y'all like to be disrespectful. That's not what we're going to do over here on the Millionaire Morning Show. That's not what we're going to do over here on the Millionaire Morning Show. What's up, Mr. Tay? That's not what we're doing over here on the Millionaire Morning Show. We're not going to be disrespectful to Michelle. We're going to be respectful. We're going to call Michelle the name that Michelle has, and we're going to have the conversation. But Michelle, Obama's wife, Barack's wife, is choosing to break with tradition, one of the first ones to do it, and deciding that she is not going to attend the inauguration. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. What the? All right, so that's wrong. All right, give me a second. Let me fix this really quickly. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. That can't be right, right? We're not coming to that until the end of the show or towards the end of the show. Let's see if I can get that fixed real quick. Oh, I see why. I see why. All right, so let me see something. How did that work? How did I hit that button? So I hit the wrong button? All right, that's not the button we want. We want that button, right? There we go. All right, so Michelle Obama is choosing to skip out on Inauguration Day. Check it out.
Michelle Obama's office confirming to CNN tonight that she will skip Donald Trump's inauguration next Monday. without explaining why she's going to be absent at an event that is traditionally attended by both former presidents and their spouses, notable exception from last year. This means the former First Lady will not come face-to-face with the president-elect. This also comes after she missed Jimmy Carter's state funeral here in Washington last.
Dude from Fairfax says she didn't attend Carter's funeral either. Is it possible she could be ill and they're being quiet about it? It could be possible, but I doubt it. And the reason that I doubt it is that how do you already determine that you're not going to attend something 7 to 5 days or 5 to 7 days prior to the event itself happening? Let me say that again. How do you know you're going to be sick 5 days from now? In which she had already determined a long time ago that she wasn't going to be attending the inauguration. How do you anticipate your sickness? That's all I'm saying, dude from Fairfax. How can you make that assessment if you don't even know what you're going to feel like 5 days before the inauguration?
Last week, where, as you can tell by the seating chart that you're looking at here, had she gone, she would have been sitting next to Trump himself. Former President Obama will attend the inauguration, we are told, and our sources are saying tonight that also so will 3 of the richest men in the world. Tesla CEO Elon Musk, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, and Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg will all have prime seating for that ceremony, sitting near Trump's cabinet picks and administration officials.
I'd rather sit next to 4, 8, close to $900 billion than to be sitting next to Michelle Obama anyway.
I want to bring in my political sources tonight. Democratic Congressman Tom Suozzi of New York and Kevin Madden, a former senior advisor to Mitt Romney. Congressman, what do you make of the former First Lady deciding she's not going to attend the inauguration as people are looking into who was there and who wasn't?
Good morning, Keisha.
And there's been a lot of outrage over this from some people, but I mean, Trump himself did not attend the inauguration famously last year.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't want to go. I mean, maybe she's enjoying her time that she's spending wherever she is, or maybe she doesn't want to be there. And, I wouldn't read too much into it. I mean, it's the same as you said in your opening. She didn't go to the Carter funeral either, so, I mean, she doesn't want to go.
Do you see it as a statement yourself?
No.
The absence?
I don't either. Yeah, I think the congressman's right. I mean, if you talk to Republicans, Democrats, anybody who's had any interactions with Michelle Obama, she does not really love this stuff, the politics. She doesn't love the pomp and circumstance that comes with a lot of the political histories that we have, right?
Well, also,
a lot of the traditions that we have. So,
in addition,
she don't respect the United States of America. That's what it is. I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. She does not respect the United States of America and its traditions. Men go back and forth, and men take care of business, and men, they do a certain thing, and they change traditions. They win, they lose, they fight, they destroy each other, they kill each other for land, they draw lines in order to say, this is my territory. Women are supposed to operate a little bit differently. Honestly, in my opinion, she's a reflection of what the culture of what black women are inside of the United States of America, and also why they feel validated to do some of the things that they do, because this is just the way that it is. You do realize that the decisions that you make as a leader is a reflection of, or it influences other people that pay attention to you, right? I can't just do certain things a lot of times that I may be inclined to do, or I was raised to do, or what my cultural norms have taught me to do. I've changed the way that I communicate here on the Millionaire Morning Show. I don't curse on this platform. Why? Because I understand that I'm impacting people and I'm trying to make sure that they have a great day. I'm trying to evolve to be a better communicator and a better person. And more importantly, I don't want people to get in trouble when they're listening to me on the job. And so I change and I evolve, not change who I am instinctively, but I still maintain a better position, because that is what leadership calls for you to do, is that you have to do things that you don't want to do when you don't want to do it in order to get the best result.
To that, the guy being sworn in has, questioned her husband's birth, where he was born.
And you know what? It'd be worse, I think, for Michelle Obama, and it probably wouldn't be authentic to herself if she went not wanting to be there, right?
Yeah.
And then, imagine and we know, like, with the cameras all being on her, trying to get all the reactions, if you think about just the roadblock coverage, that every single tiny reaction that came from
relationship with my doctor friend, Dr. React says, dang, Anton, why I got to be a black woman problem? The same reason why I'm held to a higher standard as a black man. If you want to change your cultural norms, you have to do things differently. Let me tell you why, doctor, because this goes beyond politics. Let me tell you why. It's because you as a woman have a higher expectation because you are a representation of your husband. What she is not considering is how it makes her husband look. Because it's not just about her. She's an extension of the person that she signed up to marry. That's why it's a problem. And if I just sit here and act like it's not something that happens on a regular basis, I would be being dishonest. I would be dishonest. The reason why you guys get a bad rap is because of what you accept and what you've standardized as a cultural norm in the United States of America. This is why. It's because your responsibility is greater than how you feel. It don't matter about whether, we don't care about Michelle Obama. Nobody is going to miss her. Nobody is going to say, man, this inauguration is not lit because Michelle Obama is there. Nobody cares. The show goes on. But what does it say? What message are you sending to the people that watch you? How do you represent the person that is actually supposed to be the center of attention as an extension of the president and what their wives are supposed to be like during the inauguration? You make Barack look bad. Let's say, for example, we say, well, Trump skipped an inauguration. Bad man Trump. Okay, cool. We disagree with that. Then you hold him accountable or you have that conversation separately. But does that absolve you from doing what you're supposed to do, or are you just using that as an excuse to be an angry woman and to not represent what your husband is supposed to be like? And are you tarnishing his legacy for your own selfish reasons? Nobody cares about whether she's there. The conversation that we're having is what it represents. And then does it look bad on the person that she's married to? It's not about you. It's not about you at all. At all. I'll give you an example. You want me to be real? I keep it 100% real with you. Real talk. I remember a time maybe 8 years ago, right? No, I would say maybe 9 to 10 years ago. And I had a really big event that I had to attend because I was making a play to ultimately move in a different direction in corporate America. And so at the time, we had been having a knockdown, drag down argument, me and Rita, right? Knockdown, drag down argument, me and Rita. It didn't matter what was happening behind the scenes. When we went to that event and I had to present myself a certain way and introduce her to my boss and the people that I was doing business with and so on and so forth, you know what she was doing? In mode, doing what she had to do, taking care of business, with a smile on her face, 100% presenting it. And then when she had to, be a representation of me or whatever, so on and so forth, she spoke nothing but glowingly. It didn't matter what was happening between us two at the time, or as far as us having a disagreement. She was like, nah, he is the greatest man on the face of this earth. You know why? Because she understood the assignment. She understood that what she was doing was a small piece of a bigger puzzle that we was putting together that ultimately was going to lead to her benefit in her greatness. She understands the assignment and she plays her role to a T. Why y'all can't play y'all role? Why you can't play your role? Why you always got to be the center of attention? Why you always got to be the one that step out and say, you know what? I am her, hear me roar. Why you can't shut up and play your position? Why you always got to be the one? Why you can't just do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it and play your position? Gotta get some accolades. We don't hear of no other first lady in history that even take even remotely try to say that they responsible in any way for their husband's success. The Bushes, the Clintons, Melania, Jimmy Carter's wife, none of it. You don't hear none of them. You don't hear no other demographic of people that would even say that they're responsible. The wife is responsible for the husband's, even if it's true that the wife is responsible for the husband's success. But you know what we hear in the culture on a regular basis? Well, if it wasn't for her, well, if it wasn't for Michelle, she had a good job before he came into the office. You don't even hear other presidents talking about how they met their wife. But she the only one that'll go on Oprah and Ellen and a podcast and talk about whether or not they having problems inside of the household. Play your role and play your position. Play your role and play your position. We don't want to hear from you. You better not. Let me stop. Do you want to have a real conversation on the Millionaire Morning Show, or you want to play games and act like it's okay? It's not okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. Always sassy, always doing something, always bringing unnecessary attention, always want to be the center of attention even when you're not talking, always got something to say, always making your husband look bad in a way. Now you got the women saying what you're responsible for, and if it wasn't for you, you don't hear that from no other president. You don't hear nothing. You just hear, hey, they was in love, and oh my God, he grieved her so much that he passed away less than a year after she passed away. It's just a love story. Legacy intact. But we got to have a conversation. Michelle, with her bad attitude and her twisted braids, she ain't going. You don't hear none of that from nobody. No other wives is ever embarrassing a husband or even having this conversation. But we got to have it about Michelle. Michelle. Even Clinton wife with her big head. Nobody says that she responsible. She just wear her pantsuit, looking crazy. Bill had to make up for getting some head in the White House by trying to give us her as president of the United States of America, but nobody ever says that she's responsible for his success. Nobody. Just pantsuiting it up with her bold haircut, and she just there.
President Carter's funeral.
Yeah,
I mean
we're looking at it right here.
Yeah. And let me just say that, you're not hearing as much from Democrats this time about a mass number of people not coming. I think it's just a different tone. I mean, he's the president of the United States of America.
Are you going?
Of course I'm going. I went the first time as well.
And why do you think it's important for you to go? You're an elected member of Congress, of course.
He's the president of the United States of America. I didn't vote for him, but he's the president. So I'm going to the United States president's inauguration.
Yeah, I think the whole idea of norms being eroded has kind of had its turn in Washington. But I do wonder, what do you make of what happened with Vice President Harris? She has not invited Vice President-elect J.D. Vance to come over to the Naval Observatory to have any kind of pre-inauguration meeting, we are told. That typically is standard, or at least a conversation between the two of them.
Yeah, I don't know what the reporting has been on why that is, but it's a missed opportunity. I think the inaugurations have always been this celebration. I mean, I remember the famous words of Bill Clinton at his first inauguration that we hold these celebrations in the depth of winter, but they really are a thawing of the political sort of partisanship that we usually have in our country. At least there is an opportunity to do that. So I think having had Vice President Harris had J.D. Vance there, it would have been a nice gesture and something to build on.
The people who will be there.
Let's hear the woman. Let's get the women's perspective about this whole thing on CNN, about what's going on inside of the White House and whether or not Michelle is impactful and not attending an inauguration.
Michelle Obama not going, hi. She's done.
It's an insult to the office of the presidency. It doesn't matter who's the president. This is a tradition that's been around for over 100 years. You shouldn't do this.
Tell that to Donald Trump.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who Donald Trump.
You see that? You see that? It gives permission for y'all. This is why y'all attitudes be so bad and haughty. Talk to the face because the nose ain't listening. What the what? This is why y'all attitudes be so bad. So bad all the time. Because it's bad behavior. It's in what you do. That's what's influencing the culture.
Or who isn't. It's the president of the United States.
No.
He didn't show up.
I'm saying he didn't show up at all.
I don't agree with that either. You should always show for the office.
8 years ago.
Doesn't matter. Then you should say Donald should have shown. Everybody should show up for funerals and for inaugurations, period.
I don't really care whether she's there all that much. I mean, she can make her travel decisions. I do think this is part of a pattern of these little petty snubs. This is one. Kamala Harris won't invite J.D. Vance's wife and kids over to the Naval Observatory where she's moving children into. They've never been in it before. A clear.
And that's one of the things when they said, well, Melania Trump turned down an opportunity for, whatever, Jill Biden or whatever. She's already lived inside of the White House. She doesn't need a tour. She's already been there before. And there's no need for her to do another tour with Jill Biden. You understand what I'm saying? This is their second time inside of the White House. This is not their first rodeo. This is not the first go round. But Kamala Harris, sassy. Michelle Obama, tacky. Always. You know what? Oh my God. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus, that Michelle Obama and Kamala Harris don't get to gallivant around in the White House together, messing up the furniture, changing the culture, because all we need is tacky and sassy inside of the White House, making us look bad with their bad attitudes. And boy, I'm telling you, that would just throw these women into the stratosphere as far as being disrespectful inside of the United States of America. God know what he's doing. God knows what he's doing. Can you imagine the hell that all of these guys will be experiencing inside of their household from women that now reference Kamala Harris and Michelle Obama and their bad attitudes as far as why they don't need to listen to their husbands inside of the White House? Look, I ain't have to listen to you anyway. Could you imagine the type of hell that would break loose as far as our cultural norms inside of the United States of America? It would be hell on earth for every last one of y'all. You could just forget it. You could just forget it. You might as well just bend over. Just bend over. It's it. It's over. It's up. It's up from there. God saved us. Saved the culture of the United States of America.
Snub. Then when she tweeted out the picture of the Carter funeral, she clearly cropped out Trump out of the picture. I think
she didn't crop it. That was a picture that the Carter family released.
Well,
he was behind a pillar, but yes, he was not in the photo.
Look, you can blame it on Trump and say, well, he treated Biden terribly, and I agree. I think Biden should have gone to the inaugural, or Trump should have gone to Biden's inaugural.
Tell me you getting pegged without telling me you getting pegged. Shout out to Ron Thompson that's watching it with his wife. Ron says, I can't believe you guys let this man talk down on black women, all the fighting and struggling we do to protect our families and the black man. You don't even know how to put a period, a sentence, a capital letter, or a comma inside your sentence. We not work. Listen. Put the fries in the bag, dog. Put the fries in the bag. We didn't ask you. We don't care about what you think. You think that women are listening to you and that they actually agree with you? They don't. They agree with me because they know what masculinity look like. Put the fries in the bag and move along, sir. We don't want to hear it. Get my package to the door, put the fries in the bag, and step away from my Ring camera. But you think that I'm going to change my narrative and my rhetoric just because I got on a suit and a custom shirt? You think that the AD shirt changed me? I'm the same. You think that they agree with you? They agree with me. They don't like you. What, you think that you're going to get some brownie points just because you in here simping? That don't work. That don't work. Masculinity is in. That sassiness that you got, Ronald McDonald, that don't work here. Put the fries in the bag, dog. Let's continue.
As well. I don't care whether she comes or not, but I do think some of this pettiness is beneath.
Can I just
these
on the
people's
Kamala Harris
profile.
of it all? Let me just play. Not to explain it. She can do what she wants. She's the vice president. But here's what J.D. Vance has said about her.
It's that Kamala Harris is so asleep at the wheel that she won't even do an investigation into what happened, and she wants to yell at Donald Trump because he showed up. She can go to hell. But while we're not garbage for thinking that Kamala Harris has done a bad job, I think in a couple days the voters in New Hampshire are going to take out the trash in Washington, D.C., and that person's name is Kamala Harris.
Okay.
Shout out to the chat
Michelle
doing what the
Obama
chat
represents
do.
me. And I'm
Hold on. Before we get to the sassy women that's on the screen, shout out to the chat for doing what the chat do. Let me get a chat a round of applause here. Let me get a round of applause for the chat. He thought that the women was gonna be like, yeah, Ronald, yeah. Dog, we different over here. We don't care about what nobody think. My chat don't even like me sometimes, but they gonna rock with me because I say what I meant what I say, and I say what I mean. See, the rules of the game is this, Ronald. This is the rules of the game, big dog. You gotta stand on. You know why we like Eric in the chat, Eric D? You know why Eric D be getting the wrench? Is because even though Eric D is our room 9 cousin that stand on liberal policies, Eric stand on business, and he not simping for nobody. We mean what we say. Sometimes my chat be like, Anton, you crazy. We don't agree with you. And I say, yeah, okay, well, then I guess we just crazy together then. We crazy cousins together. We stand on business over here. We don't switch up. We don't change. We don't care what happens. You not going to simp out and think that you're going to get no sympathy from the women in the chat. They don't like you. They like me. They like me.
Glad that she's not. Like, if she doesn't want to go, don't go. I hear it, but I just feel like she has gone high. She's gone very high for a very long time. And I have said on the show before, when they go low, we need to match energy. We are in a different era of politics.
See what I'm saying?
Also, Donald
Don't
Trump
have y'all
won Michelle
crashing
Obama at
out.
his inauguration, so he doesn't care. Like, let that be his day. He won. Go govern. Michelle Obama, go live your best life. Represent the 92 of us who stood up for Kamala Harris. And if Kamala Harris has been more than graceful with presiding over the certification of the election, with showing up, I mean, you laugh, but
Graceful.
you laugh, but
Yes.
like the last time that happened, remember the whole Capitol was on fire. Crap was smeared on the wall. I'm just saying, like,
she has
it's not
no
laugh.
functional
It's
role
not.
in it.
It's like your laugh
it's
is
ministerial.
Your laugh is diminishing sometimes your points, because if you just remember 4 years ago, we just didn't even have any of those things. We didn't have the sitting president come to the inauguration, let alone a first lady from 8 years ago. So Michelle Obama, go live your best life.
Yeah, Michelle, go ahead and live your best life. Go on out there and embarrass the rest of the women, and y'all gonna keep on celebrating her. Michelle, I'm not even gonna disrespect you. You know why? Because when they go low, we go high. When Michelle go low, we go high. The chat is the ones that's gonna call you Big Mike. I'm not gonna call you Big Mike, because I'm gonna call you what your name is that they say is on your birth certificate. I'm going to call you what you said that your mama named you. You said that she named you Michelle. Barack said they named you Michelle. I'm not going to call you Big Mike. The chat, I can't control the chat. The chat is out of control. But what I am going to say is, I think it's disrespectful. I think that you need to bring yourself back to the congregation, get out of your feelings, stop making your husband look bad, and we can see who run the pants inside of that relationship. And we can see who run the pants inside of that relationship. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Michelle for embarrassing her husband, Barack. And shout out to Eric D. Eric D, you caught a little bit of shrapnel on that one, but I needed to use an example. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Fick Tucson Crypto says, buy some XRP. Trump got some. I don't think that that's a good reason to buy XRP. I think you need to actually make an informed decision, but it's okay. I got you. Daniel Harris says, seems like Michelle is taking her own advice and making other plans behind Barack. She may be. Ace in the building says, as the first black first lady, way to set the bar. Agreed. Shout out to my girl Jerry in the building says, Melania followed her husband's lead and neither attended. Michelle is defying Barack by not attending with her husband. Talk to him. Jerry, you get it. You get it, Jerry. Still trying to be my baby mama. Enforcer 2K9 says, Trump and Vance, a collection of the richest men in the world, all in one place at the same time. Why does this feel like one big setup? Maybe there's a deeper reason why you don't feel like going. Nah, I don't think that. We can't think that that's the reason. Dame Smith in the building says, our leaders struggle with diplomacy. Agreed. Scooby Don is in the building, says, they forgetting Michelle was the one telling women to vote regardless of what the husband thinks and believe. So what makes people think that she give a D about us? J Ben is in the building. J Ben says, so Obama can't say, that's my Michelle, in his Shannon voice at the inauguration. Can't take him out of the hood. Can't get the ghetto up out of him. Talk about it, J Ben. Shout out to my people over there in Arizona. I appreciate y'all. Nitty77 says, 80. To be fair, Trump did not attend Biden's inauguration. She's returning that energy. Listen, I don't want y'all ever in life. Let me give y'all a word of advice. I don't want y'all ever say returning that energy. It just don't read well. It don't read well. No man, I don't want any man. And if y'all catch me saying it, hold me accountable too. No man should ever say returning that energy. You could say keep that same energy. Yo, I got this for you or whatever, but don't ever say, return for whatever reason. It just don't read well. I don't get it. And it ain't making sense. Jerry in the building says the 92% are saying this isn't black women's fight anymore since Kamala didn't win. Michelle doesn't have to go. These women are insufferable. Talk about it. Carrington Wells is in the building. Never thought about that, Anton. As much as Bill put Hillary through, you never see it affect her in public. She's always present. I've never seen Hillary in my life. And maybe y'all can bring up something, and I'm 42 years old. So I was up in the 90s when all of this stuff was going on. I've never seen Hillary Clinton ever disparage or disrespect her husband in any way, shape, or form. Not one time. Not one time. Now, he might have had to do some groveling. He may have tried to sell the United States of America on the worst option in history and trying to get Hillary Clinton inside of the White House. But I've never, ever, not one time seen Hillary Clinton disrespect Bill. Not one time. Shout out to Carrington. I appreciate you for the 100 ball and taking care of us over here at the Millionaire Morning Show. Hey, Nikki says, plot twist. Nobody cares, Michelle. Facts. Chris Cunningham is in the building. Shout out to Chris. Chris says, Michelle and Kamala are a perfect example of why men like Ron can't be men in their households. What up, Dougie? Ron already fled the chat. Don't run, Ron. Come get this work. Shout out to Stephen Baker. I'm a 28-year-old cybersecurity student starting my IT journey. I have no children and I followed your advice and broke up with my fiance, a single baby mama. I don't have much yet, but I wanted to sow into you blessings, sir. Oh, man. They going to be looking at Anton like, oh, my God, Anton, you broke up a relationship. It was for the best. It was for the best. I hate to say it. Stephen, you did the right thing. Stephen, you did the right thing. Let me tell you something, Stephen. Let me tell you why you did the right thing. You are 28. You still in school. Don't you know that she was dating you for the man you are to become, but you wasn't dating her for the woman that she was going to become? You was almost about to take care of another man's child. Stephen, do you know that you were not going to be at the top of your earning potential until you were in your late 50s, early 60s? And she was unruly at the same time? And she was disrespecting you? Imagine what that would have looked like once you got married, adopted her children, and you were required to pay child support for a child that wasn't even yours. Let me give you another round of applause, Stephen. Saving lives. saving lives. Y'all said Anton is causing a divorce. He never was married. He wasn't married. I'm saving lives out here in these streets. Yes, 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 yes. Congratulations, Steven. You are the GOAT for this stream. Kyle Davis says women have a hard time compartmentalizing. Michelle should be able to not like the new president, but respect her husband at the same time and attending the inauguration. Get in line. Shout out to Kyle Davis. Young and Reckless says, tell Ron and Cam up to debate you and stop being a simp. We don't do that no more. You got to have done the work and be at a certain level in order for me to debate you. And we'll probably do it on something like Harley Initiated. Them days is over. You had your opportunity to hold me accountable. You missed. We don't like you, Ron. Talk about it, Valerie. They don't like you. They don't like simps. Women settle for simps to take care of their children. They don't like you pandering. For whatever reason, y'all think that women like y'all pandering to them. That is out. Women are done with that. Because then they're going to realize that you broke anyway. Hey, I might as well get with the dude that's going to tell me what to do, bust me down, give me what I need, and make sure that things is taken care of on the backside. They want us. They want us. They don't want you. They done with you. Ladies, say, I'm done with Rons. Ladies, say, I'm done with Rons. No more Rons in 2025 and going forward. We going back to our traditional ways. We not trying to be suffering out here in these streets. We trying to align ourselves with masculine men that ultimately do the thing that's best for us. We done with Rons. South Central Conservative says, shout out to you, bro. One day I hope that I can collab, but I know I got to put in more work. Keep going. And y'all, I'm the chat. Would get to know me soon. Shout out to South Central Conservative in the building. We appreciate you rocking out, big dog. Thank you for continuing into the platform. Run a 1-4 flat for the chat. I'm shutting this. I don't even know what that means, but shout out to Me University. Christopher Mayberry is in the building. Says Stephen went from Stephen to Stefan with one decision. Smart man. And he'll never simp again. Tracy's Take is in the building. Says Michelle forgot her husband will always carry that title, former president, and needs to play her part. Y'all get it. My ladies get it. Jonathan Gonzalez says, what up, Anton? You going to the Lions game Saturday? I will not. I will be in D.C. and Portland, big dog. I am so broken up about it. But we going to talk about it. Anyways, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Oh, I almost forgot. I promised somebody that I would say this, so I have to say it. Do we got any AKAs inside of the chat before we continue over with the show? We got any AKAs inside of the chat? If we got an AKA inside of the chat, let me get a pink or green heart inside of the chat. Or put AKA. Pink heart, green heart, or put AKA inside of the chat. Pink heart, green heart, or put AKA inside of the chat. We got any AKAs inside of the chat? Any ladies? I see you, Carmen. I said Ron was an AKA. Shout out to all of my AKAs that's inside of the chat. I heard that it's Founders Day. I know y'all gonna be busy today and for the rest of the week, so shout out to all of the ladies and the AKAs. I know that a lot of y'all might have voted for Kamala Harris, but we gonna forgive you because we know that you're gonna do better next time. You're gonna do better in the midterms, and you also gonna do better because I know that that's y'all sorority sister. We know you're going to do better in 2026 and in 2028, all right? So shout out to all of the AKA. I know it's Founders Day. Salute to y'all. Salute to everybody. I hope y'all have a phenomenal day. See, I'm diplomatic, right? I got diplomacy. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to all of the AKAs. Anyways, let's continue on with the show. I just wanted to make sure that I acknowledge that because I said that I was going to do it, and so I did it. Now I got it. All right, Pete Hegseth yesterday was grilled. Today they got more Senate hearings, but yesterday he was grilled by the Senate. And here are some of the highlights that came along with it. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get it.
Mr. Hegseth, I do not believe that you are qualified to meet the overwhelming demands of this job.
Department of Defense under Donald Trump will achieve peace through strength. And in pursuing these America First national security goals will remain patriotically apolitical and stridently constitutional.
You said in your statement, you don't want politics in the DOD. Everything you've said in these public statements is politics. I don't want women. I don't want moms. What's wrong with a mom, by the way? Once you have babies, you therefore are no longer able to be lethal.
I've never.
Are y'all listening to our senators? Are y'all listening to the people that was in this Senate hearing? It was so crazy. I've never seen a bunch of children before in my entire. Listen to what she just said. Listen to Kirsten Gillibrand, a Democrat for New York. Listen to what they said.
You've said in these public statements is politics. I don't want women. I don't want moms. What's wrong with a mom, by the way? Once you have babies, you therefore are no longer able to be lethal.
Once you have babies, does that mean that you're no longer able to be lethal? Oh, Jesus, Lord, how far have this country fallen? And can we hurry up and get Trump in the office? Can we expedite the process? Can we speed it up by like 5 days so we can go ahead and get Trump in office and then we could just go through the official inauguration in like 5 days? I just couldn't imagine sitting through that and listening to these people and thinking that these are the ones that actually are the legislators and the ones that's determining our laws. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane.
What's wrong with a mom, by the way? Once you have babies, you therefore are no longer able to be lethal.
I've never disparaged women serving in the military. I respect every single female service member that has put on the uniform, past and present. My critiques, Senator, recently and in the past, and from personal experience, have been instances where I've seen standards lowered.
Would you use our military to take over Greenland or an ally of Denmark?
Senator, one of the things that President Trump is so good at is never strategically tipping his hand. And
why would we telegraph a strategic move, even if we're saying it just to start certain conversations so that we can ultimately come to a better decision, or whatever the strategy is that Trump would deploy? Why would the incoming Secretary of Defense then tell a senator at a public hearing for the whole world to see, because the whole world watches American politics just as much, if not more, than the people that's actually in America? Why would he say that in a public hearing?
And so I would never in this public forum give one way or another direct what orders the president would give me in any context.
That sounds to me that you would contemplate carrying out such an order to basically invade Greenland.
Many of your work colleagues have said that you show up for work under the influence of alcohol or drunk. I know you've denied that, but you would agree with me, right, that if that was the case, that would be disqualifying for somebody to be Secretary of Defense. Senator, those are all anonymous false claims, and the totality
they're not anonymous.
The letters on the record here.
They're not anonymous.
On the record, people
we've seen records
with
names attached to them.
Senator Kaine, or I guess I better use the senator from Virginia, starts bringing up the fact that what if you showed up drunk to your job? How many senators have showed up drunk to vote at night? Have any of you guys asked them to step down and resign from their job? And don't tell me you haven't seen it, because I know you have.
I don't want a long answer. Yes or no. Have you led an audit of any organization of which you were in charge?
Senator, in both of the organizations I ran, we were always completely fiscally responsible.
Yes or no, did you lead an audit?
And the way
yes
my leadership
or no,
has
did you lead
been
an audit?
stated.
Could you imagine going home to some of these women? Could you imagine negotiating with some of these women? Could you imagine the agenda that's behind some of these people that are in office trying to grill Pete? But none was more entertaining, in my personal opinion, than Elizabeth Warren. This was the exchange between Pete Hegseth and Elizabeth Warren, as far as Elizabeth trying to grill him about women being in the military and being in combat. Check it out.
Thank you, Mr. Hegseth. Senator Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Hegseth, thank you. Thank you for your
Ron
service.
is back. Where?
So if you're confirmed as Secretary of Defense, you will oversee our military, including about 250,000 women.
Oh. Hey, guys, Ron is back, and Ron doesn't like cyberbullying. Ron says, you're trying to cyberbully me, bro. Get alive. Now, think about this, ladies. Just based off of the interaction between me and Ron, do you think that Ron has a masculine bone in his body? Or do you think that Ron is probably biologically a woman that is trying to go through the transition of becoming a man? I'd be willing to bet that Ron does not have a strong father in his life. I'd be willing to bet that Ron, who subscribed he left and then he came back and he was mad. Ron is probably in between sessions, probably lost, Call of Duty. He's in the lobby. Ladies, I'm just trying to understand, do you think that Ron represents masculinity? And would you pick Ron to be the father of your children? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Ron, zip it. Zip it, Ron. We doing a show. Zip it. You know what, Ron? You're not listening. You're not listening. You're not listening, Ron. You think you ever seen one of these, Ron? You know what this is? You know what this is, Ron? I like to call this the rod of correction. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep on doing it and see how this is going to go out for you. Keep doing it. No, you tough. You tough. You tough, Ron. Let me say something. Say it again. Go ahead. I'm listening. No, you got a lot to say. The floor is yours, Ron. Ain't been enough of this. Ain't been enough of this. See, this is what happens when y'all keep gentle parenting. All that negotiating, he keep on grabbing on your leg while you trying to shop for him at Walmart, keep on stealing all of the fruit snacks. He allowed to just play his video games all day. This is what happened. I'm going to keep this right here on this desk to remind you of why you need strong fathers inside of your life. Now we trying to listen to Pete. Pete, continue.
Who currently serve on active duty in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Space Forces, and the Marines. And I have serious concerns that your behavior toward women disqualifies you from serving in this role. Now, I've been trying to get answers from you for quite some time on this. You haven't wanted to meet or to answer any of my questions. So we'll just have to do it here and dive in.
Make me take my suit jacket
off. I
want
to pick up on some of the questions asked by Senators Shaheen and Gillibrand and Hirono.
I'm going to give you something to cry
And I just want to
about.
make sure we have a list of some of the facts that I think are undisputed. I'm not going to talk about anonymous sources. I'm just going to quote you directly. We've got the video. We've got it in print. So going back to January 2013, you told a Fox News interviewer that women in the military simply couldn't measure up to men in the military, saying that allowing women to serve.
Hold on, y'all hit a like for the algorithm if you think that Ron got something else to say and that I need to address this and take my suit coat off. Y'all hit a like for the algorithm if you think I need to make sure that we address Ron accordingly. Because I got my belt right here. It's right here. It's right here. We're gonna leave it right here for Ron. All right, let's continue.
that rules would force the military to lower the bar. You picked up on that same theme in 2015, making remarks on Fox News, referring to women in combat as, quote, it would erode standards. June 2024, you said on Ben Shapiro's podcast, quote, women shouldn't be in combat at all. And then, of course, we've talked about it in 2024. You published a book, and you say on page 26 of your book, we need moms, but not in the military, especially in combat units. Page 48 of your book, you claim that women should not be in combat roles because men are distracted by women. And then 10 weeks ago, you appeared on the Sean Ryan show and said, I'm straight up just saying we should not have women.
Make sure that y'all not timing people out either, right? Because as long as people not saying anything crazy, disrespectful about somebody's kids or something, we don't care if somebody got a difference of opinion. We actually like the chat. Chat Lives Matters. Chat Lives is our co-host for the show over here on the Millionaire Morning Show, all right? We don't do censorship, even if you have a difference of opinion.
Women in combat roles. Now, I presume you recall making all these statements?
Senator, I'm not familiar with the article you're pointing to in 2013, but it underscores my argument completely because in that 2013 argument, I was talking about standards.
No,
Standards are what it's always been about,
Let's not
Senator.
have this same fight again.
Always been about Senate
I've quoted
standards.
you directly. We've got the video. We're happy to show it. But I want to be clear here. For 12 years, you were quite open about your views, and your views were consistently the same. Women are inferior soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen, and guardians.
How many people actually disagree with that? I actually agree. I believe that women are inferior soldiers, sailors, whatever else that they want to say. Is there the anomaly here or there that actually will be able to meet the standards? 100%. But we've had to lower the standards for women in order for them to be accepted into combat roles in the military. I'll be honest with you. I don't want to see our women on the field. Can they be in the military? Absolutely. Should they fill other roles, including administrative roles? 100%. But if you're asking me if a woman should be drafted, have y'all seen, let me take a minute and just explain this. Have y'all seen, this is for Ron right here. Have y'all seen, there's a viral clip. I don't know if y'all on X or if y'all seen the news, but there's this super, super duper viral clip that's all over the world right now. And it was it was footage from a soldier that a Russian soldier and a Ukrainian soldier got into combat. They got into a knife fight. They had guns and stuff, but then it had to turn into a face-to-face combat. And it was an 8-minute grueling battle. I seen the unedited footage. It looked something like it was out of Saving Private Ryan. I don't know if y'all ever seen Saving Private Ryan. Sit down with your family over the weekend and watch Saving Private Ryan. It was one of the most gruesome movies that I've ever seen, but it was a realistic depiction of what was happening in the war, right? And it's a video of a Russian soldier and a Ukrainian soldier. And I can't play it here because it has to be heavily corrected. But they were in a, face-to-face hand combat, fighting with a knife. And it was a reality of what war is. It was a reality of what war is. Could a woman be a drone pilot or something? Absolutely, they could be a drone pilot. But to be in face-to-face combat in real life, I've never seen something like that in my entire life. Has anybody actually seen that viral video of the Ukrainian soldier? I think you could probably find it on X. The Ukrainian soldier and the Russian soldier that was in a hand-to-hand combat, and they was fighting each other, and they fought to the death, and they were screaming and yelling and trying to get the other one off of them, and they was getting stabbed each other and all of this stuff. It was crazy. Can you imagine a woman? Better yet, can you imagine your daughter growing up and being in that type of situation? Look it up on X. It's crazy. It is absolutely insane. A Russian soldier wound up out outlasting the Ukrainian soldier, and it was blood everywhere and all of that. Could you imagine your daughter, while this senator is sitting up here talking about, I can't believe DEI, are you saying that women are inferior to men when it comes to physical capabilities? That's exactly what we're saying. And we're also saying that we would not want our daughters and our wives and our granddaughters, we wouldn't want that to be their fate, to be on a battlefield in hand-to-hand combat with another soldier getting stabbed in her eyeballs. I don't know why this is so hard for us to figure out. She's trying to hold him accountable for comments in which he's saying that women should not be in combat inside of the military. Is that offensive to y'all? Ladies in the chat, is that offensive to y'all?
And in case anyone missed the point, and these are your words from 10 weeks ago, women absolutely straight up should not be permitted to serve in combat. And I notice on each of these.
I agree. Women straight up should not be permitted to serve in combat. Let me say it again so you guys can know what my position is, because I'm misogynistic in that way. Women straight up should not be in combat, should not be permitted to serve in combat. I don't care what you think. I don't care what other cultures do it. I don't agree with it whatsoever. Unless y'all just want to continue to advocate for equal, then get your big head butt out there and serve then.
Quotes, those are said without qualification. It's not by how much you can lift or how fast you can run. They don't belong in combat, period, or your words, straight up. And then on November 9th, 2024, just 32 days after your last public comment saying that women absolutely should not be in combat, you declared that, quote, some of our greatest warriors are women, and you support having them serve in combat. Now, that is a very, very big about face in a very, very short period of time. So help me understand, Mr. Hegseth, what extraordinary event happened in that 32-day period that made you change the core values you had expressed for the preceding 12 years?
Senator, again, I very much appreciate you bringing up my comments from 2013, because for me, this issue has always been about standards. And unfortunately, because of some of the people that have been in political power for the last 4 years, priorities other than standards, lethality, and meritocracy have driven decision-making.
I'm quoting you from the podcast. Women shouldn't be in combat at all. Where is the reference to standards? That they should be there if they can carry, if they can run? I don't see that at all, Mr. Hegseth. What I see is that there's a 32-day period in which you suddenly have another description about your views of women in the military. And I just want to know, what changed in the 32 days that the song you sang is not the song you come in here today to sing?
Senator, the concerns I have and the concerns that many have had, especially in ground combat units, is that in pursuit of certain percentages or quotas, standards have been changed. And that makes the combat more difficult
let me make a
for everybody
suggestion
involved.
about what
She has never let this guy finish a sentence to save her life.
happened in that 32 days. You got a nomination from President Trump. Now, I've heard of deathbed conversions, but this is the first time I've heard of a nomination conversion.
I'm going to read Cash
And I
Apps and Super
hope
Chat
you
shortly, y'all.
understand that many women serving in the military right now might think that if you can convert so rapidly your long-held and aggressively pursued views in just 32 days, that 32 days after you get confirmed, maybe you'll just reverse those views and go back to the old guy who said straight up, women do not belong in combat. Now, Mr. Hegseth, you have written that after they retire, generals should be banned from working for the defense industry for 10 years. You and I agree on the corrosive effects of the revolving door between the Pentagon and defense contractors. It's something I would have liked to talk with you about if you'd come and been willing to visit with me. But the question I have for you on this is, will you put your money where your mouth is and agree that when you leave this job, you will not work for the defense industry for 10 years?
Senator, it's not even a question I've thought about because
You can
it's
think
not
about it
one
right
that,
now.
It's not one, my motivation for this job
I understand
has never
that. I
been
just
about
need
what
a
could
yes or no
conceivably
here.
come next.
Time is short. I just need a yes or no.
I would consult with the president about what the policy should be
In
at the Defense
other
Department.
words, you're quite sure that every
When people ask you a question, sometimes they already know what they want you to say and they already have a response in anticipation of what your answer is going to be because they already have labeled you. This isn't a conversation. This is a debate. This isn't a conversation. This is rhetorical. She's not actually asking him questions to get an answer. She's asking a question in anticipation of trying to make him look bad and be combative. Listen to what she says.
Every general who serves should not go directly into the defense industry for 10 years. You're not willing to make that same pledge?
I'm not a general, Senator.
Look at her face. Look at her face. Look how stupid they are. These are our senators. This is a part of the Senate hearing. You have a woman who has never served anybody in her entire life, including her constituents, grilling on a premise that she has no clue about. And now they're laughing at her. They're laughing at her in a Senate hearing for the defense secretary. Listen again.
Yes or no?
I would consult with the president about what the policy should be
In
at the Defense
other
Department.
words, you're quite sure that every general who serves should not go directly into the defense industry for 10 years. You're not willing to make that same pledge?
I'm not a general, Senator.
You'll
Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we'll go from there. Let me see what we got here. Kyle Davis says, no Dusties allowed, t-shirts are needed. Deshaun Love says, shout out to my dog Anton, it's been a minute. Where you been at, Deshaun? Where you been at, big dog? Thank you for showing me love and coming through. Let's see what we got. The Genius for show says, Anton, I'm a bag chaser since November 2024. I appreciate your knowledge and wisdom. I watched all the videos of Stock Club and Block Club. I seen you took down past videos. I'm looking forward to your future videos. What past videos? I haven't taken anything down. Everything is already still up and we got more to come, baby. Not AD skip my Founders Day. It's your Founders Day too. You a Delta? Shout out to Founders Day. Listen, I don't know nothing. Honest to God, Jerry, let me tell you the truth. I don't know anything about these ladies whatsoever. Somebody told me yesterday, Anton is Founders Day, and you got to acknowledge us on Founders Day. And I'm an AK. I was like, okay, all right, got you. Then they called me this morning and said, make sure that you said you acknowledge Founders Day. Don't forget, because you said you was going to. I said, okay, I got you. Is it Founders Day for everybody? I don't know, Jerry. Shout out to my girl, Jerry, and all of the Deltas also. Antonio Watkins says, wow, that went differently. AKA friendly now? What do you mean? Yeah, I got some ladies that surround me that's some AKAs. I don't agree with the way that they be voting, but I rock with them. Letitia Joya says, I'm a bag chaser in DC. Do we get to meet you? Are y'all coming to the ball? We'll talk about it. Yeah, come kick it with your boy. Malik Amir L says, thanks, Mr. AD. It's great to see and hear logic on this level. Thank you, my friend, for rocking out with me. I appreciate you. LaMarcus Pace in the building says, you're not Secretary of Defense, Jay Reed. Chat for more says, AD, you better than this. It's 2025. Don't give the dusty people the time of day. Put the belt back on. Laughing my A off. No, this belt is just for my friends. Shout out to Jamaica says, the slow talk while getting the belt is deja vu. See, look at y'all having PTSD. SC Morgan says, I voted for Kamala like many others. I made a mistake. I got to give you a round of applause for that. Because at least you're bringing yourself to the front of the congregation. They lied to me and I'm voting for Republican next time. I'm sick of the woke. Chase Barnes is in the building, says the first official rod of correction in 2025. Eric Wealth Harris says, oh no, he don't beat Ron. He just needs to learn. Well, sometimes learning comes from the rod of correction. That's why they call it correction. Michael Johnson says, Ron missed the pre-beating. Yes. Oh, see, you know what it is. New Ball says, you need to give him the opportunity to call in. Nope. Them days is over. Michael Johnson says, 80 said, now Ron, if I raise up, it's going to be trouble. Trouble. Ryder Guy says, Elizabeth Warren clearly hate read Pete's book. No, she probably had a staffer do it and then had them do chat GBT. I wonder what would have been said if Trump's wife didn't show because Kamala won. Anyway, it's my birthday, big dog. Happy birthday, first full day as a chaser. Shout out to the new bag chasers. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon link in the description as well as pin to the top of the chat. Jim Rat 08 says, as an NCO in the Army, we've had this talk with female soldiers that's under me. I asked her if she get hit in the firefight, you need to lay down and cover fire and pull me to safety. She looked at me like I was crazy. You gonna be out there by yourself, big dog. Ron is back, says, why was I blocked for speaking of... Y'all, come on, y'all. Hold on. Mods. Come on, y'all. What we doing? It's 2025. We don't block people. We don't time people out. All right? No timing out, no blocking. Let the people rock. I'll go through Ron and make sure that you're not blocked at all at the end of the show. Sub-Zero says, I served the Marines for 8 years, been downrange. Women Marines are tough in their own way of support. We have had them in combat roles since 1995. Some of them hold their own, but it is a risk. Small White Wolf in the building says, this joke started as a wise up woman. If you think you're so tough, someday you might be in the draft. Act like a female, be kind and loving. What's good for the goose? Just Go Nichelle says, I need Granny Warren to suit up, boot up, and enlist for the front line. Take one on chin for all of us ladies. Go get it then, Warren, Elizabeth Warren. Shout out to Vish. I appreciate your love. Shout out to Vish M. I love you. Thank you for the super sticker. Magnetar said, these are leading questions. They were. Silver Lion says, oh, she mad. Jay Ben in the building says she almost swallowed her dentures. Alex Oubre says, Gen Z, we here. We up. Unc. Shout out to my dog, Alex. Happy Girl says, I couldn't handle my fellow soldier being killed in front of me or beside me. Executive Suite MLE says, Spirit of Dust is in the air. Undust yourself, Ron. Ron is all right. Ron is a part of the crew. He'll be all right. What's up, reporter Anton? Keeping us up to date with the news. I'm on it. Rahi, I appreciate you. Also want to acknowledge, give me a second. I want to acknowledge Aaron. Shout out to Aaron or Aslam Heroon. I appreciate you. Thank you for holding me down. Thank you for the Cash App. Thank you for continuing to support the platform. It does not go unnoticed. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and kick into high gear. We got to take care of business. I want to talk about what possibly started the wildfires because there's now footage saying that they can now find out possibly what started the wildfires over there in California. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. But first, we need to talk about what was Karen Bass doing at the start of the wildfires.
As you know, though, Mayor Karen Bass is in some political hot water over that trip she made to Africa, to Ghana, in the days before the fire broke out, even though warnings had been in effect before she took off for her trip, this diplomatic mission to Ghana there. Remember, those red flag advisory warnings were put in place.
Ron, you're not banned. You was just timed out. You can't be cursing in the chat. You know better. Shout out to Azriel. Good job, baby. Good job. See, a lot of times y'all be getting me to try to hold my my mods accountable, but y'all be doing disrespectful stuff. I trust my mods. They know what they doing. Do what y'all do. Time them out if they get overly disrespectful and start cursing in the chat. That's not what we do on the Millionaire Morning Show.
On Saturday, there before her trip, and they broke out the fires. On Tuesday, she came back from Ghana hurriedly on Tuesday to respond to the wildfires there. She made it back very, very quick, though. The Los Angeles Times has some more reporting about where specifically in Ghana and what specifically she was doing as the fires broke out here. I want to read from the tweet. They say this, that Mayor Bass was at an embassy cocktail party in Ghana as the Palisades fire exploded. Now,
How do these people get to do this on taxpayer dime? Because I believe that this is God exposing what these politicians are doing that's not conducive for the taxpayers and for the people. You got caught with your pants down over in Ghana at a cocktail party, possibly on taxpayer dime. That is grounds for dismissal, and I think that anybody else would be fired if they was in that situation. That's almost like you supposed to be on the job, but you out there getting your nails done. Cool, if you can get away with it, but if you get caught, you need to be brought to the front of the congregation. You're at a cocktail party while fires are breaking out. A cocktail party. That's why she was so quiet when the reporters met her at the airport and was grilling her. A cocktail party. So while you were at a cocktail party in Ghana on taxpayer dime, and that's why you didn't want to say anything, this is possibly how the fire started off in the Palisades in the first place.
Guys, we gotta go up. Let's go up. Let's go up. Oh no.
These videos, obtained by CNN, appear to show the beginning of 2 wildfires in Los Angeles. In the first video, taken on the morning of January 7th and later shared with the Associated Press, Kai Cranmore was hiking with friends in Temescal Canyon when they spotted smoke on the horizon.
Turned around and there was a plume of smoke just like rolling over the mountain like right behind us.
This satellite image, captured by the European Space Agency and timestamped at 10:37 a.m. local time, shows the first signs of the Palisades fire tearing through the area. CNN geolocated Cranmore's video to an area near the site of that smoke.
Hey babe, I need you to come out here right now.
Later that day, Ring doorbell footage shows Cheryl Koo alerting her husband Jeffrey to a nearby fire she saw on her drive home from work.
And because there was no power, the neighborhood was dark, the canyon was dark, she could see a light in the hillside, and as she got closer to the house, sure enough, it was burning bright, and it was the base of the tower on fire.
Minutes later, cell phone video taken by Jeffrey appears to show the base of an electrical tower in Eaton Canyon on fire. These are potentially the first images of the Eaton fire.
We were in the panic mode of just trying to get out as fast as we can. We did see the embers flying. It was almost like snow flurries, but instead it's
That's
fire.
crazy.
At the same time the Coos were evacuating, Pedro Rojas captured another angle of flames erupting at the base of the transmission tower from his backyard in Pasadena. Local officials are investigating the area as the possible origin site of the fire, according to the Los Angeles Times.
Investigators are trying to get to the bottom of the question that's on everyone's mind. How did all of this happen?
Can you imagine being there at the onset of something this catastrophic happening, and now it's spread all throughout California in several different areas to where all of these celebrities, regular people, rich people, poor people, everywhere, now they're all affected? Can you imagine being there watching while your mayor is over at a cocktail party in Ghana, that you're watching the beginning of your home about to be burned down, and there's embers flying through the air that's now going to catch your house and every other house that's surrounding that area on fire, and there's nothing that you could do about it because there's no water inside of the reservoirs and the fire hydrants don't work? That this is about to set off a chain of events that's going to change the history of what Los Angeles, Eaton, Palisades, Altadena, all of these places are. Hollywood, homes, displacement, rent is about to go up. Could you imagine this? Seeing the inception of this and then it changed into what it is today? That all of us was chilling, sleeping. Somebody is on their way home from work and then they could see this happening and playing out in real time.
What started the 2 most destructive fires in Southern California history? Now, we know the dry brush and the high winds helped fuel the flames. You can see here just how fast the Palisades fire grew. What started more than a week ago has spread and spread and spread.
And is right next to the water.
Now burned more than 23,000 acres. That's more than 37 square miles.
That's
killing
crazy.
At least 9 people for that fire alone, scorching 5,000 structures. It's currently, this fire in particular, 18% contained. But what was the source of that initial spark? Well, the first signs of the inferno were actually early on Tuesday, January 7th. Cal Fire says that it started at around 10:30 in the morning. Now, this video shows smoke rolling off the hills around the Palisades minutes after 10:30. Now, this satellite image was taken at 10:37. Now, at that point, the fire was a tiny fraction of what it would eventually go on to become. And now we're learning the Palisades fire appears to have started very close to another blaze that broke out just 6 days earlier on New Year's Day. This is the burn scar from that fire from a satellite image on January 1st.
Crazy.
Here's that same burn scar on the image on the Palisades fire. It's less than 300 yards from where it looks like the Palisades blaze began. Now, people are asking, could the winds have rekindled smoldering debris from that New Year's Day fire? Well, agents from the ATF are trying to figure it all out. But a source tells us there is no leading theory at the moment. And then there's the Eaton fire. Now, Cal Fire says it started at 6:18 p.m. on Tuesday. Here's video from an Altadena resident just a minute later.
Oh, no.
Now, what he's filming there is an electrical tower with flames licking away at the base of it, as you see, and that's not the only vantage point. Another nearby resident, they recorded this. It was taken around 6:24. Now, no cause of the fire has been determined yet, but the Los Angeles Times is reporting that authorities are investigating an electrical tower as the possible origin site. The city's electric company is already facing a lawsuit, by the way. Southern California Edison says it found no problems around the time of the fire. I want to bring in CNN's Nick Watt, who's live in Pacific Palisades. Nick, there have been concerns all day about the return of those now infamous Santa Ana winds. So far, though, the gusts have not been as strong as expected. How long is that going to last?
Well, hopefully a long time, but at about 3 a.m. our time, West Coast, so 6 a.m. your time, they are forecast to pick up again. You know, we went through this drill last night where we thought that the winds were really going to pick up in the middle of the night. You know, there was a weather forecaster on the local news who was talking about these people being at the most danger as he had his hand alarmingly over exactly where I live. So my truck is full of couple of pictures and some stuff from my house right now. If we get through tonight, we will be good. So fingers crossed the forecast is wrong again. I mean, it's been great news. And frankly, the Palisades fire today has been very inactive. No real active flame. A few hot spots around the fringes that they've been really trying to damp down just in case that wind does pick up. And, you know, another theme of the day has been, you know, Mayor Bass talking about, you know, it's time to look forward. It's time to start rebuilding. You know, she and the governor are signing executive.
Nope, I don't agree. I don't think that it's time to start rebuilding at all because they're trying to escape responsibility of being proactive and being prepared for a situation like this. I think that we should put stipulations on whether or not they can get the money from the federal government to rebuild. And one of the stipulations should be that they have to resign, especially considering that you were at a cocktail party in Ghana. Anyways, neither here nor there. I just wanted to share that with you guys to make sure that we was all on the same page. And then we can move over. I got a couple more things that I want to go over with you guys, but let me read a couple of super chats and then we'll get it popping over there. Wealth Building Journey says, I had to calm him down. Time, no overly disrespectful comments. He back now. Shout out to the Wealth Building Journey. I appreciate you. Absolutely no cussing in the chat, says Antonio Watkins, at least not on this channel. And Mr. Tiege Daniels says, Californians will just keep saying, oh, it's just a small area on the outskirts of LA that's on fire. And many more excuses when this happens again. I don't think that they should. Well, let me be quiet. Gotta hop for another budget meeting. I'll catch the remainder of the show on replay. Salute and shout out to Utah and the Bag Chasers. I appreciate your wealth building journey and thank you to everybody that contributes into the platform. All right, so let's pivot for a second. I want to talk about something else. Jasmine Crockett and Nancy Mace challenge each other to a duel. But who was right in this whole exchange? Well, I'm going to show it to you from the beginning. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get into it.
The desk.
So there's 5. Will the clerk
Everyone has the amendment. Everyone has the Crockett amendment on the desk. Will the clerk please report the amendment?
An amendment to the rules of the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform for the 119th Congress is offered by Ms. Crockett of Texas.
Without objection, the amendment is considered as read. I reserve a point of order. The gentlewoman is recognized for 5 minutes to explain her amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. During the 118th Congress, Oversight Republicans disbanded one of the most important subcommittees in Congress, the Subcommittee on Civil Rights and Civil Liberties. And now in the 119th Congress, the chairman and House Republicans have decided to prioritize the demands of the real president, Elon Musk, and his billionaire friends over the needs of the American people.
Just a question from a C student. Do we need less representation inside of the House? It's just a question. It's just a question from a C student. Because if you're telling me that these people make all of this money and they wind up leaving rich and they get some more successful and they get more visibility, and these are the ones that are helping to craft our laws, is this the BS that they talking about every day? A subcommittee for civil rights?
Now, we are about to approach the birthday of Martin Luther King. It's actually tomorrow. And on January 20th will be the inauguration of Donald Trump, but it will also be the observation of MLK Day. And the fact that we have decided that in this country we are not going to honor civil rights should be something that we all take issue with. Considering the fact, for some that don't know what civil rights are about, because some people only believe that it deals with black folk, let me explain. Civil and political rights are a class of rights that protect individuals' freedom from the infringement by governments, social organizations, and private individuals. They ensure one's entitlement to participate in the civil and political life of society and the state.
Question. As we continue to raise bait and talk about identity politics, curious, what civil liberties don't you have? Let me ask you a question. How many of you guys are affected by the abolishing of affirmative action? How many of you guys didn't get into college because you were passed up on by somebody that didn't deserve to be there but was better than you? What rights don't you have, and why are we still fighting for civil rights? And why are we still leaning into identity politics to justify how we move? Let me let her finish her statement.
Find another way. The right to be free from discrimination, the freedom to worship as we choose, the right to vote for our elected representatives, the protections of due process, the right to privacy. If any of that sounds familiar, it is because these are rights that are born out of our Constitution, something that we all supposedly have sworn an oath to, and we swear to not only, we don't just swear to it, we are supposed to protect those rights. Interestingly enough, we just had the funeral of one of our beloved presidents. And I caught a flight to Austin on the day of the funeral. And I had the honor of sitting next to someone who was a little familiar with the White House. That person was Lucy Baines Johnson. And when I tell you that she is a wealth of information, I really mean that. And when we had an opportunity to talk about
she's talking about that,
what she experienced as her father was president during a time in which, honestly, our country was on fire. And I would argue that, unfortunately, our country is on fire right now. When I first ran for office, I ran for the State House and said that we were in the midst of a modern-day civil rights movement, and I have not been convinced otherwise just yet. But this is the daughter of the president that signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964. She was also there when he signed the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And to be perfectly honest, without that voting rights, I don't believe that I actually would have a seat in Congress. And so I
Well, maybe we signed the wrong Voting Rights Act. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we picked the wrong thing to sign, because I'm not really sure that that would make sense for her to have a seat in Congress, or that it makes sense for her to be there at all. Maybe we got it wrong. Have y'all ever thought about that? Maybe we got it wrong. Maybe we got it wrong. Do y'all know that the Civil Rights Act, the ones that actually discriminated against people from being able to do what they do and having the right to vote in the first place, is now hijacked by people that can control whether or not they want to be sassy, and they're acting like they're being discriminated against because of their sexual preference or the bathroom that they want to use? The very thing that enabled you to be sitting in Congress is now being hijacked from biological men that feel like they need to be going in women's bathrooms, and people that say that they don't know what a woman is, or a woman is somebody that believes that they're a woman. It has now been hijacked, and we're protecting something that no longer needs to be in place or existence. That's just my personal opinion, but carry on, let them rock.
I do believe in preserving the fact that everyone should be entitled to real and true representation, because I do have a Section 2 seat as our Voting Rights Act has been decimated. But one of the stories that she told me was that her father asked her about coming over to the Congress for the signing of the bill as it relates to the Voting Rights Act. Now, for her, it was a bit inconvenient as an 18-year-old to have to leave the White House and go over to Congress. And she asked her father, why should we go over to the Congress, Daddy, to sign this particular bill? And she said, we need to go over to the Congress because we need to pay due respect to those members of Congress that knew that voting for this bill meant that they would not be returning to Congress, but they had the courage to do what was right for this country and make sure that everyone's voices were going to be heard. The one thing that we could do, the very small thing that we could do, is have a little bit of courage and decide that we are going to reinstitute this particular subcommittee, because unfortunately,
This lady is annoying.
don't see the type of courage that the people
She
that
is
served back
long-winded,
in the
ain't she, Keita?
60s had coming out of some of our colleagues. And so I'm asking you to do the courageous thing today and just institute a subcommittee that would make sure that we are looking out for those protections of everyone in this country, to make sure that we have real freedom, something that we all supposedly espouse to believe in. And with that, I will yield.
Mr. Chairman.
Gentlelady's time's expired. Any member seek recognition?
Yes.
Mr. Higgins? Oh, Ms. Mace was first. I'm sorry. Ms. Mace.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, I don't know what's going on today. I find it extremely rich and offensive. So we're talking about civil rights. I'm the former ranking member on the Civil Rights Subcommittee, something I believe in civil rights and civil liberties of all Americans. And we were talking about infringement of individual people. Also, quote, the right to privacy of individuals. Coming from a party that can't define what a woman is and won't give women the right to privacy. You all want men with penises, chicks with dicks, in the bathroom with us. You want women to be forced to undress in front of men in the locker room.
There used to be a strip club on my way to work. I think that's what it was called. It was a strip club on my way to work. Y'all can Google it. I think it's over in Dearborn, Michigan, if I'm not mistaken. And I used to work at the steel mill. A lot of y'all are familiar with the fact that I used to work at the steel mill. And it was a road called Dix Road, right? It's Dix Road, D-I-X, over here in Dearborn, Michigan, where the steel mill was. And it was a strip club, and it was a little rinky-dink place. It wasn't like an Ace of Spades or none of that type of stuff, right? It was called Chicks on Dix. C-H-I-X on D-I-X. Because that's what the name of the road was. It was Dix. And so to hear Nancy Mace say that is... Oh, man. You know what? I do want to pull it up on my screen and look it up. But honest to goodness, I'm afraid of it. It's going to mess up my, algorithm. That's what it was called. That's what it was called. I kid you not. I kid you not. Now I'm about to pull it up. Give me a second. I'm about to go on Google and pull it up now. Because I want to know if it's still there. I remember, if I'm not mistaken, that it was a place that used to be called that. I'm afraid to pull it up. I don't for them to get us again. Anyways, like I was saying, how does that happen every single time? Every single time that every day, every time, it's almost like it happens every single day. Anyways, we're back, and so that's what I wanted to hit y'all with. But anyways, it was a strip club that was on the over there by it, and it was in Detroit on 403 South Dick Street. This was it. Right? This was the name of it. This is a street right here. Some rinky-dink street over in Detroit. You see that it was over there by all of the towers and stuff like that? This was it right here. They changed it to something else now. What is it called? Charmed? But it was over here near Rouge. It was right here. I guess it's permanently closed. It was a dump anyway. But, yep, this is Canada. This is Rouge. I used to work over here. And this is Mexican Town. Obviously, this is Detroit. It's actually really up the street. It ain't going to take there. And so this is the place where it was at right here. And then we used to work in the Rouge complex over here. So this is where it was. They thought that they can get some kind of visibility. And then I used to work right over here near the Rouge complex. So it's funny that she says that. Man, I used to remember all of this. Crazy. Diversified manufacturing and all of that. Anyways, neither here nor there. Let's continue on with the show. Let's continue to what she had to say.
And in dressing rooms, and it's so hypocritical for you to sit here and say and be screaming from the rooftops about the right to privacy and civil rights when you don't respect women, and you don't respect women who've been raped, women who are victims of sexual abuse, and you want me, a victim of rape, a survivor of rape, to go into a locker room and be forced to undress in front of a man? You have to be effing kidding me. So I don't want to hear about you talk about rights, individual rights, civil rights, because you can't find the courage from the 60s to fight for women all around America, fight for women like me, every single woman. And as a rape survivor, I shouldn't have to explain to you why women have rights and why women, when we're in the bathroom, when we're in the locker room, when we're in a dressing room, why I don't feel safe when there is a man nearby. And the fact that we're going here and we're going to say all these things is the ripeness of hypocrisy on the Hill. People need to tell the truth, And if we're going to talk about the rights of individuals, we have to talk about it. Everybody has rights, including women. And at some point, men are infringing on the rights of women. We just had it today. We just had a vote about protecting women and girls in sports. And I believe it wasn't one, it was two people from the Democrat Party who voted to protect women's rights in sports today. Two. Yeah, so this is, Mr. Chairman, this is a deeply offensive conversation to me today. We want to talk about real freedom. Women have freedom in this country. Women have the freedom to go to a private women's only space and not see a man in it.
I
Women
agree.
have the right
100%.
to change and not be feared that somebody with their sexual perversion, someone who's confused about their gender, we have the right to feel safe in these spaces. We have the right to know that we're not going to have trans people filming us in the bathroom. How many of these trannies are taking selfies? These men are taking selfies in women's spaces, in the bathroom. It's gross. It's disgusting. So if we're going to talk about civil rights, let's talk about the rights of women in this country and how you are stripping them away every single day. And you're doing it in your legislation, you're doing it in your messaging, you're doing it on X. You're making women feel unsafe in this country. And you're making the opportunity for women and girls to be raped, to be sexually abused in this country even greater than they've ever been. So don't come over here with your attitude and talk to me about rights when you're trying to take my rights as a woman, a rape survivor, away. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back. Any member seek recognition? Ms. Stansberry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the gentlelady across the aisle demonstrating why we need civil rights. We need civil rights to protect all people, especially trans Americans who are under attack right now.
That sounds crazy to me. Civil rights has now been extended to identify people who we used to call delusional, who we used to say, hey man, what's wrong with you? You need to get some help. If you got gender dysphoria, you think that you something that you're not. You was born biologically as a man. You got, stuff between your legs that says so. You have masculinity. You got testosterone. You have all of these things that didn't make you a man. But now it's extended to somebody that can identify as a woman and use your bathroom. That's crazy. That is now what civil rights has become. And this is what y'all think that y'all protecting.
I would like to yield the rest of my time to the gentlelady who is carrying the amendment.
I don't even know how we got there because I tried to make it clear how many civil rights, it doesn't just boil down to one conversation, but I can see that somebody's campaign coffers really are struggling right now. So she gonna keep saying trans, trans, trans so that people will feel threatened. And child, listen, I
See, you got to get disrespectful. You got to get this. The minute that you start throwing ad hominem attacks is when you start losing an argument. You start talking about people's campaign coffers, coffers. You start calling them child and girl, child, honey child, all of that stuff. Ghetto. The ghetto comes out no matter how much they elected, no matter what position that they hold. The ghetto comes out all day long. Child, honey child, girl, please. All of that extra. Ain't nobody ask you for all of that. That's not even necessary.
I am no child. Do not call me a child. I am no child.
I want
Don't
to
even
find
start.
out
I am a grown
which
woman.
of those
I am 47 years
emails
old. I have broken
actually
more
have.
glass ceilings than you
Chairman,
ever
I
will.
am reclaiming my
Let's go.
time.
You will not do that. I
Order.
am not a child.
I am reclaiming my time.
If you want to take it outside,
Mr. Chairman, the committee is not
Okay.
in order.
All right. Order.
Point of order. Point of order.
Order.
She said, if you want to take it outside, cash me outside. I'm not your child. See, a lot of times it's miscommunication. Because you so ghetto, because you so hood, because you such a booger wolf child, hunter child, your slang is not supposed to even be being used inside of these chambers, ma'am. See, now she thought that you was calling her a child when you was using it as, well, you was using it disrespectfully, but you was using it as a form of slang. Child, honey, child. See, that don't fly here. Now Nancy Mace said, who you calling a child? You want to take it outside? You want to take it outside?
Chairman, the committee is not in order.
Order, please.
So that people will feel threatened. And child, listen, I want y'all to
I am
tell
no
me
child.
whether or
Do
not
not call me a child. I am no child.
I want
Don't
to
even
find
start.
out
I am a grown
which
woman.
of those
I am 47 years
emails
old. I have broken
actually
more
have.
glass ceilings than you
Chairman,
ever
I
Order,
am
please.
reclaiming my
Let's go.
time.
You will not do that. I
Order.
am not a
Chairman,
child.
I am reclaiming my time.
If you want to take it outside, we
Mr.
can
Chairman,
do
the
that.
committee is not in order.
The hood came out of everybody today, didn't it? The hood is back. Let me get a round of applause for the hood. Crazy. The hood is back. Listen, guys, I rock with Nancy Mace, but you got to operate and you got to maintain a level of decorum when in professional spaces. This wouldn't happen in corporate America. It should not happen inside of our legislative branches. This would not happen in corporate America. It should not happen in legislative branches. I do not agree with Jasmine Crockett. I don't agree with how Nancy Mace reacted. And I think that we have to have a level of decorum and we need to carry ourselves accordingly inside of our legislative branches. Let me read some of these super chats and then we'll continue after that. We don't need to be talking about catch me outside inside of our House of Representatives, do we? No way. We better than that here in the United States of America. Are we or aren't we? Anyways, let's continue on with the show. They be trying to slow me out. Every single day this week, have y'all noticed? Every single day this week, once we hit the 2-hour mark, every single day this week, my connection go. I'm starting to think that there's something else happening out here in these streets. Michael Johnson in the building says, let it be noted on the congressional record that the Dems that's in favor of chicks with D's. Shout out to my dog, Michael Johnson. Y'all thought I'd just be making stuff up. No, I'll be serious. That lady pop, nah, we not going to do that. I ain't never been in that hole in the wall piece of crap. I know Jazz Neck is strong when that helmet comes off. Up there sounding like she was Mike Blessing to get her seat. Nextratrition Anonymous. Y'all crazy. Come on, man. We got to show some love to the ladies that's in the U.S. House of Representatives, or should they even be in leadership? I'm claiming 1,000K subscribers by the end of June. We are putting in work. No crashing out in 2025 in Jesus' name. Shout out to 3-Man Podcast. Eric Wealth Harris is in the building, says, Nancy said, run me my fade, Jazz. Chris Cunningham says, this is why the community is losing her. Kamala Harris, bad representation of black women today. Casual Germ. Kamala Michelle. I mean, that's what he said. I think he said Michelle. Great. This is exactly how the British English act during their parliament meetings, except they have cheerleaders laughing and cheering in the background. Good job, America. So silly and disrespectful. She need Dr. Umar in her life, says Craig G. Chip Burner says, Nancy Mace from South Carolina. Country whites are raw. Jonathan Barnett says, if that's scandalous, look into the current federal indictments of the mayor, county, DA, and a council member in Jackson, Mississippi. Too many folks are quiet about this. Send it to me in my email so I can check it out. If I miss any super chats, it's because my stream initially got sniped, so we had to bring it back for the bottom of the map. Whoa, they will bring it back to the bottom of the map. But we back now. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I want to talk about one more thing from a money perspective, because people are saying that Americans cannot buy starter homes, and they don't know why. Americans are having trouble, and that the starter home has now gone away. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. If you have not, Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off of life. Let's spend 10 minutes talking about this, and then we'll go from there, all right?
Starter homes are disappearing from the United States. In the early 1980s, as many as 40% of the new homes built were considered entry-level. By 2023, just 9% fit the criteria.
Give it another 20 years and literally no young person will be able to afford to purchase a home, period.
Meanwhile, a slowdown is mounting in the home building industry, which could contribute to the ongoing decline of the starter home.
Both housing starts and building permits, which are an indicator of future construction, have slowed down this fall, and it's not just seasonal.
There are over 3 million potential first-time home buyers in the country. They're up against high home prices that keep rising.
What you're starting to see are mini price bubblets in markets that are an hour, 2 to 3 hours from major metropolitan cities.
It is such an unusual market because we have an all-time low of first-time home buyers, but an all-time high of all cash buyers.
So where did all the starter homes go?
They got an all-time high of all cash buyers because people like me understand the game. We understand that it's not about getting rich in real estate. It's about making a long-term play and protecting your wealth, especially when it comes to the amount of money that you got to give to the federal government in taxes. And so we'd rather spend it on things that make us more money than not so much so. And then we make sure that we run up a bag. So I have a theory, and it's a lot of different things that go into why there's no longer a starter home or a starter home pack or the amount of money that you can spend in order to get to a starter home. But it's only because I've been in the real estate for a long time and I now understand the cost that's associated with building homes. But let's get it started.
A starter home is typically modest in size and price.
It's the most affordable home in any market. If you're in the Midwest, maybe it's in the $100,000 range. If you're in California, a starter home might be in the $400,000.
You can forget it. You could forget it. I don't know where they getting these numbers from. I ain't seen a $100,000 home that's in a halfway decent neighborhood in 15 years. I haven't seen a starter home, and that's only because we had a housing crisis that absolutely reset everything. I haven't seen a home that's in a $100,000 range in well over 15 years. It doesn't even exist. I don't care where you at. I don't care where you from. Even if you get a home that's burned down, dilapidated, and they sell it to you for nothing, like in Baltimore or something like that, you still gonna have to put $200,000 in there in order for it to be inhabitable. Easy. Easy, 100%.
To me, a starter home used to be a smaller condo, a smaller space, and someone would upgrade maybe after 5 years as they get married or have a family and want to move. But now we're actually seeing that most people are buying their first home as a single family residence and really planning on staying in place.
America's home builders are making fewer of these kinds of units.
If you look at the number of single-family starter homes, those defined as being 1,400 square feet or smaller, we used to supply anywhere between
1,400 square feet is a good home now. People would take that. You talking about people that's actually moving home with their parents, trying to figure it out. 1,400 square feet is that's a good home. Most people's apartments ain't even 1,400 square feet. And so when you starting to get, it used to be to where you would be in an apartment. Well, okay, so this is what it used to be. You used to stay home, then you would live on college campus, which you then transition into an apartment, and then you would stay in an apartment until you eventually bought a home because now you had a family, you had outgrown your environment. Maybe you moved out to the suburbs or you got better schools, and so now you're going to be in that home, and then you start off in that home, and then you maybe sell that home, and then you buy a bigger home once you grow into it and you have more kids. And then eventually you grow maybe into one more time in a bigger home. And then once you start getting older and the kids start leaving the house, that's when you downsize. First, before you downsize, you get a vacation home. And then you become a snowbird, and then you may downsize because you have too many rooms and you don't have it. You don't need that much space anymore. That used to be what the cycle was. Now, people are like, you know what? I'm about to just move home and stay home. Or if I buy a home, this is my lifetime home. So I need to make sure that I'm in a decent area and that I could grow into this and live with it for the rest of my life. It used to be a cycle. It used to be a cycle. Stay home, go to college, then get an apartment, transition from an apartment to getting married. Y'all get a starter home, maybe a 2 or 3 bedroom. And then if you have more kids and a dog, you grow into a bigger home. Maybe you go into one more bigger home. Then you get the vacation home in addition to the home. And then after that, you start to downsize because the kids then grow into a different thing. And then you go from there. Now, all of that, that's over. That's dead.
400 and 500,000 units a year.
Over the past decade, builders have put up less than 100,000 homes each year.
Really, by far, the number one reason is the increasing difficulty that many builders have in dealing with zoning regulations.
Zoning laws are set at the local level. These laws can determine the size of each lot in a neighborhood. They can also specify how far a structure is set back from the property line, how tall it is, or how many units are on site.
We went over this
In many
inside of
cases,
the Patreon
these laws
when I
create an
was showing y'all
opportunity
my
for local
costs and
residents
stuff.
to challenge new development. The residents often raise concerns, like overcrowding of schools and wear and tear on local roads.
A lot of this has to do with density restrictions within local communities. They may not want a townhouse or a condo community coming in, but they absolutely will welcome a single family community.
Zoning codes are found all around the country. The most restrictive ones are often found in major cities.
Many builders are not leaving money on the table. They are just simply unable to build, or it's become so expensive to build that they can only build high-end single-family and high-end multifamily.
Given the high price of land, labor, materials, it's very difficult for big home builders to build the entry-level homes.
Because you're going to spend more than $100,000 in most instances, in a lot of instances, on the land itself. Listen, you can forget buying a home. You talking about at a time when a lot of those homes was built, that land was like $5,000. Your great-great-grandfather and all of them, they used to be able to buy land for like $5,000, and then the home was on it. The land itself is over $100,000, and if you over there in the West, over in California, you might pay $1 million or $1.5 million just for the land by itself, so that when you start building a home, somebody can come in and squat on it. The land is more expensive than what a starter home used to be.
There are a couple who specialize, like D.R. Horton, which has an express homes division, which specializes in starter homes. But for medium-sized builders, it's just very expensive in order to pencil all the costs they have and make it affordable to that lower-end buyer.
As a result, home builders and first-time buyers are targeting further-flung locations.
We've definitely seen a trend toward purchasing a home further from the urban core. So you do see a lot of new construction in suburbia and exurbia.
Home values are now rising most rapidly in low-density and rural areas. Experts say that relaxing these codes could lead to higher levels of home building and preserve affordability.
For example, in San Antonio, there's some builders that are building sub 1,000 square feet, single-family detached homes, right? Which would have been almost unthinkable.
That is called a tiny home. Listen, you can't finesse me and you can't market it to me. The problem is not building more homes. We have a ton of inventory. Millions of homes are on the market today. The problem is the building costs, the materials, the land is costing a lot of money because a lot of these municipalities want to raise the property taxes because they're trying to plug holes in their budgets. Also, on top of that, money is not cheap anymore. So you can't finance your way into it like with lower payments because the interest rates are too high. And then you throw the cherry on top. Layoffs and wage growth. Layoffs and wage growth. We have an affordability crisis that a lot of different factors go into it that prevent you from being in a position to buy a home in the first place.
Just a few years ago. So the market is reacting, but its response mechanism is really limited because of the rules of the game.
Some areas with less restrictive zoning codes are welcoming many newcomers. For an example, see Metro Atlanta.
Home is in Atlanta now. I'm currently in Decatur, Georgia, which is right outside of the perimeter, so I have easy access to the city. It gives a little bit more of suburban-ish kind of feel. It's just the culture, the energy, the aesthetic,
and you
the
got corporate buyers. That's
a
correct.
more
Right.
elevated experience in day-to-day living, honestly.
Lillian Mantaya is a filmmaker and entrepreneur. She was in line to buy a home in the Baltimore area in 2024, but that plan fell through. Since then, she's moved to Atlanta to live with her sister and come up with a new plan.
Of course they did. It's always moving to Atlanta or Houston. Shout out to Atlanta and Houston. Somehow y'all marketed yourselves as the black mecca for people to move to when they can't do what they want to do where they from.
I did grow up in Baltimore. I gave Baltimore a shot in my adulthood with my children, and I did the 9 to 5 and, attempted to buy a house there and everything. But Baltimore wasn't providing just the lifestyle, resources, community that is needed for me to thrive. And Atlanta has been able to kind of just support me more.
Experts say that more dense forms of housing could have helped first-time buyers, particularly in crowded areas.
We do know that local communities are trying to address the lack of housing inventory in pretty unique ways. So accessory dwelling units is certainly a popular approach right now. That's one solution, but I think we need to be looking at adaptive reuse as well. So looking at vacant hotel motels, looking at vacant residential malls, and how do we bring residential housing units into those areas?
Much of the new construction since 2020 is in luxury apartments, with units that are not for sale.
The recent boom in multifamily construction has been on the higher luxury end, but it's easier for multifamily developers to get in and pencil that many apartments because they're renting them, and rents have been very high.
You will
Finances
become
are
a
big
nation
barrier
of
for
renters.
first-time buyers. The premium paid to buy a home has increased sharply relative to renting over the past decade. The increases in home prices have also outpaced increases in wages. As a result, home sales are down across many markets, and the median age of the typical first-time home buyer has climbed to 38. That's up from...
People think that people think that if you build more homes, which was one of the Kamala Harris campaign promises, that they were going to build 3 million new homes, whatever, that's going to solve for the affordability crisis. That's not going to drive down the cost of homes at all. Just because you build a lot more, you still haven't sold the glut of properties that's on the market right now. It's only certain areas that they're doing open houses for that's booming like that. But you have to be competitively priced, and you have to be very, very careful of how you market yourself and where you stand in the marketplace and what your total costs are.
Age 29 in 1981.
Just thinking about all of the headwinds that a 30-year-old may have, like student loan debt and car loans and credit card debt.
Correct.
And then they have rising rent. And so keeping that all in mind, it's hard to save for a down payment when housing affordability is really out of reach.
The problem is you have the most demand on the low end of the market because affordability is so rough right now, but you also have the least supply on the low end of the market.
The average price of homes has increased rapidly too. Nationwide, home prices have climbed over 52% between January 2020 and October 2024. Adding to the burden, mortgage rates have returned to their standard historical range, near 7%. Homeowners with a mortgage are paying 29% more than they would if they rented the same house. Dynamics like that are shutting out all but the highest income Americans out of the market, at least on average.
We're seeing first-time home buyers come into the market using inheritance, using 401k or stocks, cashing those out, combining all of these resources, and actually making an all-cash purchase.
Do not, under any circumstances, listen to me. I know that you guys don't want to hear this, but I'm going to try to tell you, and I'm going to try to convince you anyway. Under no circumstances do you cash out your 401k. Under no circumstances do you cash out your 401k. Do not do it. Don't think about it. That's not the move. It's not going to make sense for you. You will regret it. And the penalties that you pay on top of it is going to be egregious. Nothing short of disrespectful and egregious, okay? For some of you, it may be a better option for you guys to, let me put it on the money. It may be a better option for you guys to, because your assets, if you're thinking about net worth, it may be a better option for you guys to let your money grow inside of, you know, certain purchases or your stock portfolio along with crypto versus trying to make sure that your net worth is tied up 100% in your home. So it may make sense for you to rent depending on where your lifestyle is and where you want to live at and what the true cost of it is, because I don't think that we take into consideration the true cost of home ownership. Neither here nor there. Patreon video today, you guys. And on top of that, we don't have a live stream today. I thought we was going to have a live stream today. I'm thinking about it. Patreon video is going to be up today. Make sure you guys tap into the Patreon link. Link is in the description. Also, Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. Tomorrow, we will have the Millionaire Morning Show, but it will be on the road. We on the road again. We will have the Millionaire Morning Show on the road, and then we're going to go from there. We got to get this. They got to finish fixing what's going on. So we don't need to be getting sniped no more, but we're going to go from there. Anyways, let me read a couple of super chats, and then I'm going to get y'all up out of here for today. Mr. Martinez says, good morning, AD. How do you feel about Scrum Masters? I think that Scrum Masters is cool. Worked with a lot of them. You got to be on top of it, and you can't really miss. Silver Lion says, you will own nothing and you will be happy. You can own your stock portfolio, but I don't think it's necessarily an objective to make sure that you own a home. You know what I'm saying? If you buy a home at 38, you got to pay for it till you're 68, and that's assuming that you never refinance and you don't have any additional costs and you never get laid off in the next 30 years. Sound like a bad dude to me. Anyways, I love you guys. I appreciate you. You guys are the greatest on earth. Thank you for continuing to rock out with us here at the Millionaire Morning Show. This is the greatest show on earth. And I'm happy to have basically completed my first week in the studio with you guys, because we are going to be on the road tomorrow. Yeah. Give yourselves a round of applause. We still working out the kinks. We're going to figure it out. But you guys, again, are the greatest audience on earth. And we're going to go from there. All right? Listen, for my bag chasers, look forward to a video today. For everybody else, I love you. I appreciate you. You guys are the greatest on earth. And I'm going to holler at you tomorrow. Peace.